Welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors, live from Mississippi. I am waiting on my iPad to charge down here because I fooled around, went deer hunting this afternoon, and I didn't even bother to check on all of that stuff before I left and went to the woods. So, anyway, we're going to take time, let a few folks get on. I am fixing to start cleaning up this deer meat. We're going to get ready to cook some deer meat. We're going to be inside tonight because it's nasty outside. So I'll turn this down just a little bit. That is a fresh backstrap. This is out of that one that we smoked yesterday evening. I mean, we smoked it. Oh, 45, 70 blowed a hole through it you could have thrown a mule through. And the thing still run about 20, 30 yards. I couldn't believe it. I figured it would drop right there, but now, I like to neck shoot a deer. This one I did not neck shoot. Why don't you hop up on that stool right there, buddy, and sit there. And anyway, I didn't neck shoot this one because he was a little bit further than... I had never shot one with that rifle, obviously. Thus, the 3 shots, it go and click, click. And I'm like, what in the world is happening here? I mean, all my shells is bad. I didn't know what in the world was going on. I've been toting that 30-30 around some, and you know, it ain't got that safety on it. Anyway, and I started to edit all of that out, y'all. I said, that's embarrassing. I need to just edit that, you know. And then I said, no, because I don't want folks to think it, you know. I know that doesn't happen to some more folks. So we're going to cook this backstrap, and then, I wish we'd have had biscuits, Mama. We don't have no biscuits, are we?
No, I'm making baked taters.
Got baked taters tonight. I just come in from hunting. I ain't gonna tell no story about it. I'm running behind, and then when I got here, we had to clean the ashes out of the fireplace because it had done got slammed full there. We'd have been piling wood in there. But in the process of cleaning that out, we smoked the whole house up. That thing, when it's just sitting there smoldering, it don't draft at all. So, we had the doors open. Huh?
I can put some biscuits.
Can you?
Yeah.
They might want to see how you go about that. We had never done biscuits upon this channel. Alright, I'm going to see right here, y'all, if I can peel this. This thing has been in a cooler. It did peel. Okay. Now I need to cut this piece right there. Now we've got a nice clean piece of sinew. Y'all want to back a bow or something other there? So y'all, I'm having to keep up with comments on here. If you missed what I said earlier, I let my iPad slam die, and it's got 8% now. You look up there. You can't see that screen white as it can be. As white as I am. I'm making turn them on though now. It is powered up. I got it plugged up. But we got some heart right here we're gonna cook, so I need to be cleaning it up too. So let me cut this up and get it in that. So right here, y'all, I have got a bowl of milk, and you put some
Pepper and salt.
pepper and salt in there.
I like to put,
I always put the salt and pepper in my flour.
well, I do it in both.
Oh, that's fine.
But I'd like to put some hot sauce in there to let it soak in, but Brody's not, I don't want to overdo it for him.
I tell you what, why don't we'll do a few pieces and cook him some separate. He ain't eat no handful, and then we'll add the hot sauce. Justin Wilson said to put a little bit. He said, because it's a lot easier to add some later. He said, it sure is hard to take it out, I guarantee you. I have watched entirely too much Justin Wilson this week. And yeah, y'all, I wiped this knife off on my britches before I started cutting after I cleaned that deer. I mean, we cut right back off into the deer, so I don't know what difference it would have made, but if it helps y'all's feelings, I did wipe it on my britches.
Oh, well, we don't want you watching something you ain't.
Yeah, you don't be watching something you don't need to be watching.
No, I wasn't watching. It just.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to be watching this.
No, I'm not.
He done got something pulled up he was feeling guilty about in there, I think.
It was I put up Mom turn on Garfield. And now it's not real.
What you been doing today? This boy ain't done nothing but watch TV for 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to get my chat pulled up over here. Well, I can see what y'all talking about, because I got my eyes down here on this meat. I can't hardly take my eyes off of it. It's so pretty. I was talking to one of my buddies this week. He'd killed deer, and he said, I like to get mine home and put it in water and soak it. He said, I want it just as white as I can get it. And I like mine just as dark red as I can get it. Mine has been on ice and froze bag. It ain't like soaking in water, so. And it ain't, I don't really think that it's like there's a right or wrong. It's about what you like. I like the flavor of the meat. Some people don't like it. I mean, I'm one of them people really, as long as you clean or get somebody else clean, take it to process or whatever, and eat the meat, that's all I require of you. Don't waste it. Don't just cut the horns off and throw them away. But after I've got enough meat for the year, y'all, I shot that deer yesterday, and then my neighbor down the road that makes knives that I'm doing the rawhide out here for, he come driving up. He'd call me and he said, I got a little buck, you want to clean it? I said, yeah, I'll clean it for you, and I didn't have no idea. So I went and was going to clean it for him. He said, well, I'm giving you that deer. He said, I just want you to make me another rawhide out of the hide off of it. He said, and I want my horns back. And I said, I can handle that. So I got 2 deer over there I've got to do something with. And I've got plenty of deer meat. So we're going to, I'm trying to get my channel pulled up. So I'm going to start doing some squirrel hunting probably from now on, what hunting I do. I don't know. We had about right at 2 inches of rain today. So I'm sure the swamp is back on the rise. I about got the chat pulled up. Oh, Lord, it's talking to us. I had to watch one of them ads, too. I know y'all think it's just y'all, but I have to watch them, too. On my own channel. So I can get this to pull up your chat. Why is it squirrely like that? It don't never want to just cooperate. There we go. Yeah, Brody's on the show tonight. We got Brody over here. Oh. Do you want me to go ahead and put this meat in the bowl?
Yeah, and then I'll do him some.
Well, what we'll do, yeah, you fry him some, and then you can add the hot sauce right in there if you want to. I'm fixing to cut the heart up. I'll cook the heart last. I really like to just saute the heart, y'all, but I have never really just fried it.
Scoot this down a little bit.
But it's cold and nasty, and all the stuff outside's wet from the rain blowing it. It has rained all day long, so the fire pit is wet. And I didn't feel like fighting with everything.
You just keep the deer over there so it don't get on my biscuit.
I'll get it where y'all know. We gutted these 2 deer, and left them hanging. And y'all, I split that heart just as pretty as you please while I was gutting it, but I didn't hurt nothing. Somebody asked me this week. They was I think Mr. Dwayne up north somewhere. I can't remember now. Right off to Virginia. I think he's around West Virginia somewhere. Wanted me to do a video on it. And I said, well, we're gonna cook one on the live here. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I just kind of go at it, and I'm gonna cook it about like I do anything else. I mean, as far as deer meat goes, sometimes I just saute it, and when I do that, I'll cut it up the same way. I cut all this right here white part off the top, and it's probably could be eat, you know. I keep moving that camera. Y'all don't need to see my ugly head, no way. So like right here, you got these different parts of the heart. I'll split that off. Now there is different ways to do this. Some folks will butterfly that like that, split that open and roll it out and cook it like one big steak. I have never done that. I think it is probably an excellent way to do it. I'm going to cut this up though in pieces like this. And just, we're going to batter it and fry it with the rest of it. Are you afraid to eat the heart?
I don't want to eat the heart because I don't want it mixed in with
That's what I was asking. That's all I wanted to know is did it need to not be mixed
Yeah, I
up?
don't really care for it.
Okay. So see, I cut it crossways like this. I got the heart laying there. And then once I got it cut like that, I've got these thicker pieces. And I need to cut it a little thinner than that one. That one got a little bit thick. And I cut it in some sections, smaller sections. Let's see
Y'all
if
want to
I
see
can.
out my biscuits before I put them in there?
That probably did.
We was doing a little thing.
And the secret to biscuits, y'all, and I done learned this, I have cooked biscuits a time or two. I don't make good biscuits. The secret to biscuits, and see, I like the big, tall, fluffy biscuits. And the only way to do that is a smaller round skillet and put them closer together where when they expand, they got to go up. That makes you big. Otherwise, they're going to spread out. So, you know, if y'all making biscuits and you like me and you like them big, tall, fluffy biscuits, you're going to have to use a smaller pan and cram them all in there close together. That works. I like a biscuit I can either crumble up or tear open and put eggs in the middle of it. So I see folks talking about they got a lot of snow. We didn't get nothing. Alicia, you had cow heart. We've got I did a video on a cow heart. I did it in a Dutch oven out there over the fire actually. But now all these deer hearts, I usually really, y'all look at this close. That is nothing but a solid muscle. I mean, that is the tenderest, best piece of meat in this whole deer. And I understand that there's a lot of people like Michelle that just can't get by the idea that it's a heart. And it is. I mean, if that bothers you, don't eat it. I mean, I ain't one of them folks that, oh, you just ain't had the way I cook it. If somebody's got in their mind they ain't gonna like something, it don't mean you can cook it 10 ways from Sunday and they still ain't gonna like it. You can give it up. I gotta wash old Jonah. We got coffee made. We do. Brody, I'm gonna put your drink over here. He's over here polishing the floor with his britches. Oh, me. So y'all, as far as weather here, we only got rain mostly. When I woke up this morning, we had some sleet piled up around the edges and the shadows, and it rained all day long. So it has melted anything that was here, but other than that, we just got cold rain. We did not get no bad weather, no sleet and ice. I mean, it sleeted a while last night, but not enough to hurt nothing here. I think it stayed just above freezing. I think it's been like 33. Got up to 35 this morning, and it was probably 9:30 before I got out, went to the knife shop. I had a couple of sheaths I had to make, and then I went and shipped 2 knives, and then from there I headed to the deer camp. But I think today is gonna wrap my deer hunting up for me. I just wanted to go today, and I've got all my itches scratched, and I am planning on doing some squirrel hunting. Me and Roscoe had squirrel hunted a whole lot. There ain't a lot of squirrels moving, so I'm ready to take a .22 rifle and do some squirrel hunting. And if I'd get out there and build me another ramrod, we'd take the flintlock. But I have not shot anything black powder this year. I've had so much going on, and I had so much trouble with my black powder stuff that I just didn't have the energy to go working on it with everything else, building onto the knife shop, transitioning from pottery into making knives, trying to get knife orders made. I mean, it just been a lot of stuff going on. And I just hadn't really had time to focus on it, because black powder takes dedication and focus, and know that when you start hunting with black powder, you're going to give up some game. There's going to be it's not going to go off sometimes, especially when you're like me and you're young and you're learning it. And I say young, I'm not young, but I'm new to black powder. I've been fooling with it for 3 or 4 years, and I don't know everything about it. Don't have a lot of experience, so there's still times that when I pull a trigger, it don't fire. It does, and so, you just know in the learning curve that you're going to sacrifice a game. It's the same way with archery. You take a bow to the woods, you know that buck could come up out there 50 yards, 60 yards, and stay out of range, and you never get a shot at him, and you sit there thinking, if I'd have had a rifle, I could have killed him. So, you put a tablespoon. That's what old Justin Wilson, he said, I just put a tablespoon and then jug a little more off in there. Roscoe's over here smelling it. I tell y'all what, it's getting warm in here. I'm finna have to get this outside shirt off. Yeah. I'm not finna strip for y'all. I got a shirt on under it.
It's hot. It is hot.
But I threw 2 logs on that fire a while ago when I got through cleaning it out. And I can tell you without looking, they burning good. We lost connection when I grabbed at that thing. I don't know what happened. So anyway. So this thing, y'all see that joker, that's hot. Brody, quit flopping around. Look at that burning in there. Good Lord. So what we got to do is cut this air off. And she's got that fan a blowing, wondering why it's so hot.
Sometimes you just overdo it.
You put wood on the fire and it just burns. That overdo it, I don't know.
I've been keeping it comfortable all day.
And y'all, we still got a Christmas tree up. When you put a 12-foot Christmas tree in your house, you dread taking that rascal down. Y'all see them deer up there? The one in the middle is a 10-point. It don't have a huge wide rack. Let me get back over here. It's the one my daughter killed. Yeah, you can see it there. The 2 on the outside, that one and this one over here is my 2. And then, of course, there's one there and there's another one. You can't even see it right now. This European skull mine is directly behind the tree up in there. Them's my trophies. You may see another one up there. Here, photo 2 got awful long. All right, let me put my. You what?
I think I have my grease too hot.
Oh, I'm gonna get this over here and sit down for a minute. I need to get out of the way. Me and Roscoe get over here and sit out of the way and see if we can answer questions and whatnot. Jeff Claudel said, "Hello, everyone." I'm assuming we live. Wesley Hayes said he had the safety on twice. I fired 3 times before I realized what was going on. I ain't used to anything with a hammer having a safety. And probably what I need to do is be smart and just put it on fire and leave it there and quit pushing it on safety. But I pushed it on safety when I was decoying. I mean, if it's got a safety, I got the habit of putting it on safety, you know. I mean, that's the safety thing to do. If that had been a big buck and it just snapped and he'd have heard it and run off, I'd have been sick. I'd have been fighting mad about it. But Billy Boatner, thank you. Miss Jenny Bear, I'm glad you're here. You all were family tonight. That is for sure. We're all family right here. Appalachian Explorer said they got 4 inches of snow. I heard of some people up through there getting a good bit. I didn't know how much. I meant to ask Uncle Sasquatch what they got, and I have been wide open all day. I ain't had time. What I have done on the phone has been answering questions. Darlena, the new gun will not fire with the safety on. We clicked. In that last video, I shot 3 times, and it just clicked. I had to, when I realized that, I turned the safety off, and then it fired, and I killed that little old deer. Uncle Sasquatch said they got about 5 inches. I knew there was some snow, heavy snow up through that way. I was looking on the radar last night. "10 inches in southern Ohio," Jeff said. Good Lord. That's just about too much to build a snowman in. What you doing now?
Putting it in here. It seems to batter better that way if you put it in here and pour a little milk on it.
The reason we do the milk is that flour will hold to it better and it creates more of a crust. And I like a lot of crust on my deer meat. Do you have any idea what the temperature of that grease is?
I cut it down. It was really too high.
I like to cook about 250 to 260, up to 275.
I got it on 300 now.
I start my frying my fish at 275, try to. And I hear a lot of people saying, man, I cook way hotter than that. And there's a lot of people that do. And if that's the way you like to cook, I mean, I ain't saying you're doing it wrong. But your meat is a lot tenderer, cooking it slower. And especially if you put a lid, like on a cast iron Dutch oven when I'm frying it. Now, the last time I cooked deer meat over here at Christmas Eve, I let the grease get too hot and it was a little tougher than I was happy with. In fact, the next day it just toughens on up laying over here. Usually you can come by and eat it. It was tough. I couldn't hardly eat it the next day and I wasn't happy with it. And it got up to about 300 degrees when I was cooking it. So that is one of the tricks to cooking meat like this. And the next thing is don't cook it over too long. If you like it just done, it's gonna be tougher. I like mine by half cooked if you want to know the truth. But David Russian said it's the cold air. He backed up to the fire and it was plumb froze. That's a cold fire. Deaver said they got about 10 inches with 5 inches of ice. He's trying to sell it by the truckload. I tell you what, them folks out there in California probably like to have it. especially if it was melted. They having it rough out there in Southern California from what I hear. I hadn't watched a lot on it. Michelle's been keeping up with it, but get a fire going in 100-mile-an-hour winds, it burn up some stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I hate it for them, I really do. If our crappie here, if you get them little young ones about the size of your hand, they ain't too bad. You get them big slabs and hey, they'll double the old jig pole, slam over. You know when he bends that pole way over like that, you're gonna have to cook him low and slow. Robin Sullivan said they just had fish cooked in a cooker just like ours. Inside, that thing is nice for cooking and frying stuff. I like a cast iron, but now we having trouble with our stove. The eyes is working all right, but one of them, when you turn it on, it's liable to get wide open hot and you can't regulate it. And then the oven down there, it takes forever sometimes for it to get hot enough to cook a biscuit. So looks like it's doing all right today.
Yeah.
But at some point, we fixing to have to buy a stove. It's coming. And the good thing is I've got these cabinets to where I can back the screws out and slide it down and make them a little, I can put a bigger stove in there if I have to. I'll have to take that and unscrew it and move it over to center it up. And it's already over the bar some, so. And I left it designed that way for such a purpose as this. Brody's having a war over there. Y'all hear him? William Roberts, that's what we got. We got rain, cold rain is it. Made them old bucks move, I can tell you that. Nancy Pierce, thank you. We like this house. This rustic look ain't for everybody, but it's what we like, and that's all that mattered to me. And everything you see in here is reclaimed. I did build the cabinets myself, but the doors we reclaimed off of some old cabinets. I mean, everything we repurposed. That's wood, all that barn wood up there. It was a barn, 100 and something year old barn I tore down. So, save a lot of money doing such as that. Jeff, I have put mustard on fish before frying them. I can't say that I was crazy about it. It wasn't bad. It ain't like, oh, I won't never do that again type of deal. It just wasn't like one of them things like when I done it, I was like, oh, yeah. I will say that normally I just get my fish and I put them in that shaker and I put Tony Chachere's and salt in my cornmeal and use yellow cornmeal, and that's all I do. But now, I have tried putting Tony's and hot sauce on the fish itself before I put it in the cornmeal, and that is really good. You just got to be careful, and like I said, with Brody eating, we try not to make stuff too hot, because you can sprinkle just a little Tony's on something, and Brody runs around huffing like he's dying. So. Hagen Feasel, y'all got 70,000 people out of power in Georgia. Mark Woodward, I wouldn't mind having a gas stove, but I would have to go in and run gas lines from the back all the way across to over here somewhere, and I don't know how I'd pull that off. I don't think I could, because it's open all over here, and there's no solid wall to run them all the way through, so I don't know. Larry Alexander, we were about running late ourselves getting in here. We was busy before we got him.
I thought I was about to burn them up.
Them biscuits just right. We're gonna have deer meat and biscuits. I bet, boy, reckon how hard it'd be to make gravy.
I can make gravy.
Yeah.
We got baked potatoes.
I don't even like baked potatoes.
Bro, do you like baked potatoes? Randy Allen, I do use Seipel's meal fish fry. In fact, I desperately tried to grow enough corn back here to take to Seipel's meal. Brody, quit shredding that box. And let them grind up my cornmeal, my corn into meal. And the coons wiped out my corn patch. 10 rows of corn the coons eat up. This year, I'm not going to allow them to do that. Now that I am about done deer hunting, I'm fixing to go to trapping coons hard and heavy. I'm going to go buy me about another 4 or 5 sacks of corn and stash out here. And I'm going to beat them coons up back here, and I'm going to thin these out. And then I got a couple of places at the deer camp that I want to go in and get rid of some coons in. I'm not interested in shooting another deer this year, so I'm fixing to go work the coons over, and I'm on squirrel hunt. That's the 2 things I'm going to do from now to the end of February. But yeah, I'm gonna use some Seipel's meal fish fry. I like their stuff. We normally just buy whatever's handy at the grocery store, but I like their cornmeal. Somebody said Tommy can't be far behind. That was Martin Meltzer. Yes, Tommy's usually due around 9:30, but now he popped in early on us last week. Darlene, I had to move in the house to get her on the live. She said she wasn't coming out there in that cold weather. I tell you what I could. Well, I've done that, didn't I? I jerked the cord out of my charger block. We only on 12%. I was going to turn that a little bit that way where y'all could keep up with everything she's doing over there. I got her working like a government mule.
I'll make him wash dishes.
Can I use a pressure washer? I tell y'all a secret, man. If you don't want to do something, just volunteer to do it one time and make a huge mess out of it, and they won't ask you no more. Because if you tell them you just don't want to, that's a mistake right there. Mike Culpepper, there's a ball game on. Now, them folks, they ought to do better than to schedule that ball game on Friday night. They know I go live. Jerry Short, I had my 4570 Marlin 1895, the one I just bought back at the first of this year. I really hadn't done an in-depth video on that rifle, because I've had some problems with it, and we're gonna do a video here pretty quick and talk about that rifle. I am happy with the rifle. I'm not happy with the craftsmanship in it. The dovetail where the rear sight is cut crooked. The sight broke off. And those are the only 2 things right now that I can sit here and say I'm upset about. But that's enough for me. To get it on paper at 25 yards, I had to knock that rear sight all the way to the left till it was sticking out of the dovetail on the other side. So, but it is other than that, I like the gun. I shot that deer with it. If you remember, it's got a safety on it. You're all right. Luckily, I had a retarded deer, and it just kept standing there going like, "Oh, what is he doing?"
Is you gonna do fry your deer heart?
Yeah. You done dumped the flour out?
Yeah, but it was crumbly. We'll put some new flour.
Yeah.
You usually saute it, so I didn't know.
Well, we're gonna fry it tonight. Yeah, I ain't got nowhere to saute it. Is that tough?
This piece isn't. It's thin. What?
Currently getting smushed.
Huh?
Currently getting.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that heart is a pretty good pile of meat itself. Bruce over there rolling around with a cushion on him. It ain't a brick. Rag.
Oh, get this brick off of mine.
Brody. See if I can do a little, look at that. Y'all see how that crust is on there? See, I like that. A lot of people don't. Oh, man.
I ain't eating that raw.
Yeah.
You're eating raw.
Didn't you say eat them raw?
I did. I want one.
I couldn't talk with my mouth full of deer meat. Hold it good. Don't hold it like that. The dog will take it right out of your hand. Brody will come by barely holding something and go by Roscoe or Roxanne one and they'll take it right out of his hand.
But if any of the dogs come here, I just
Eric said it was snowing in Virginia. Modern Outdoors said, can we keep his sister-in-law in our prayers? His grandmama passed away last night. Yes, sir. Prayers for them, that family.
Hey, no. Best thing is the deer meat is the meat.
Deaver, that is a piece of buckskin I put around that loop. And you'll notice in my picture on Facebook, it slid up while I was shoving it in the case and stuff, toting it around. It shoved that. So I need to put me a little touch of glue on there, but I'm not worrying about all of that stuff because I'm going to probably take everything off of it. When deer season's over, I'm going to send that back to them. And it's pretty much over for me. I wanted to kill a deer with it. I did that, so I'm probably fixing to take that up to the pawn shop and say, hey, send this back to Marlin. And I feel like they're going to put a new barrel on it because that rear sight, the dovetail, is cut in there crooked. We put a square on there to see, so. But yeah, I made that. It's buckskin, and then I just laced it with that artificial sinew and did like a baseball stitch on it. Shannon Herb, I really had never eaten the liver out of a deer. I always save it. I use them for running catfish lines. They make great catfish bait early in the year before you can start getting bait fish and crawfish. My all-time favorite catfish bait here in these swamps is crawfish. Now, whenever you go up to like Tom Bigby in the big water, you need bait fish like sun perch, brim, goggle eye, you know, shad, such as that stuff up there works better.
Why'd you give him that? Look.
Charles Himes, I may have to do away with that safety. I don't know. It is tough. Deb said, please do a review on the 22 Chipmunk rifle. I am going to do a review on that. That little short rifle is going to be the rabbit getter. It's got a little rail under it, and it's got a threaded barrel where you can put a can on it. At 50 yards, I can cover them all up with a 50-cent piece. Now, it is not like a one hole at 50 yards type gun. It's not a precision gun, but I did not buy it for that. I just bought it because really I wanted something I could put in my pack, and if I'm sitting there and I want to shoot a squirrel or something, I got a little 22 in me that's a little better than a pistol to do it with. My little Wrangler is excellent for dispatching stuff And I have killed some squirrels out of a tree with that Ruger Wrangler. But to sit here and effectively say, hey, if I fire a shot at him, I can hit him, I couldn't. And this little gun will do it. And the whole thing ain't, this long. So, yeah, we're going to do a video. I let Brody shoot it the other day. And we don't know if he hit anything. He was shooting about 50 yards, but just to get the feel of shooting one. And I think the scope is a lot better for him versus open sights, because he ain't learned how to line all that up. We got to work on all that this summer. I don't know how he's going to eat that down low like that without the dog stealing
Well, he
it
done
from
got
him.
one piece from him.
Yeah, Roscoe, you get over here. Sit. Brody's over there in the floor on a cardboard box eating his deer meat. And Roscoe's steadily working his way around over there. Deaver, that's right. I had to make you one, and well, actually, you'll have to make it yourself, because I had to make this one on the gun and lace it up. But it ain't nothing but a little strip of buckskin that I had. And I just laced it on there. You can get any kind of leather at a scrap store and do that. Roscoe, over here. He's gonna fool around and get Brody's deer meat. Brody, why don't you come get in this bar and eat? Get over yonder and sit down. Nancy, we did not get any snow. Paul said eggs was $10 or $12 a dozen in Washington. Whew.
They was selling something at our local grocery store yesterday.
A dozen? There's Tommy Litchfield already, y'all. He made an early appearance.
Because I had to buy eggs yesterday. I paid $5 for a dozen eggs.
Randall Hayes said he'd been hunting from the back porch. That's just, hey, if you're hunting, you're hunting. It don't matter. That's like them. They was giving old Dennis Pritchard a hard time about his Quigley stand. He's got a stove and everything in there. And I was thinking the whole time, yeah, their only problem is they're jealous, because last night when I was dragging that canoe over logs and across the land into the other river to get to where I could get to my deer, and dragging the deer over there to get in the canoe, and hey, that shooting house is mighty nice. I'm telling you. Talking about Mr. Dennis Pritchard, I spoke with him over the last couple of days. Me and Michelle was watching one of his videos this morning. We went back, we had it up on the big screen. Of course, you can't comment on them in that video. But I had to go pull this one up and comment. And then when I talked to him, I asked him or told him about it. They had a video about them having a deer camp supper, a North Carolina deer camp supper or something like that. And Dennis Pritchard and them, there's a whole group of good guys up there, and they cooking and having a good time and telling tales and just what good guys do when they get together. I mean, it was a good time and a good video. I would encourage y'all to pull that video up and watch it, because there's this one segment where there's a fellow sitting at a table, and I mean, he is telling a tale, and he is doing a good job of telling it now. I ain't gonna tell you nothing about it. It was a good tale. Michelle was sitting over there just giggling, and I didn't really expect her to think this man's tale was funny like us guys would, because it was about hunting and all that. And she said, that fella in the background is having a hard time with that Uncle Ben's rice box. So we had to back it up and watch it good.
Brody, don't kick her.
And this fella in the background, he was having some more trouble getting into some Uncle Ben's rice. And I feel sorry for him. I ain't making fun of him, because every now and then I have trouble tearing into something myself. But he finally went at it with a butter knife. And he proceeded to stick that knife down in the top of that box and go pounding on it with his hand. And he's in the background doing all this, and the whole rest of the crew's oblivious to it going on. I wouldn't have noticed it if Michelle hadn't spotted it. So I asked Mr. Pritchard about it today, and he asked me, what video? I told him, so I'm curious as to if he went back and watched it and what he, because I don't think he probably even caught it either, unless from the sound of it. But it was hilarious. Now, that box was giving that fella fits back there. It's worth watching the video to see that.
I enjoyed listening to the tale.
Yeah, the tale was good. I mean, this fella was doing a good job. If you like deer camp tales, where we talking about one time we was hunting and this happened, and there was just some other tales that they was telling. It was worth the watch. I think y'all would enjoy that video. It's called a North Carolina deer camp supper or something like that. It's on Mr. Dennis Pritchard's channel.
You gonna get cook?
Yeah, how come you didn't put it in there? What in the world?
I thought you put yours.
Well, I was talking and I gotta quit talking. She's put me to work. You scared to touch this or something?
No, I'm just hot. I'm gonna let you stand over the grease for a little bit.
What is on my finger? That gotta go in the garbage can. I don't know what it is.
You might need to wash your hands.
I wiped them on my britches. She's stingy with that flour. We must be running low. Let me. I can't see what's going on. Something bad on the TV again, Brody said.
Garfield, but when Garfield goes off, something else always comes on after it.
Well, why don't you just cut the whole TV off? He ain't watching nothing. He's polishing the floor with his britches. We desperately try to regulate what he watches, but sometimes with these newfangled TV systems, it's a challenge to keep up with it, really. Yeah, I knew I was going to do it. Do it like that. Y'all knew it was going to happen too, didn't you? Ooh, she put the pepper in it. Ooh.
And what?
But, whew.
Tony.
You're making a face.
Yeah, I'm making a face, all right. I'm going to make you one. You going to eat this deer heart?
Blech.
Yeah. I'll eat it, by Georgie.
Brody. What?
Get your piece. Just get it and go, son. Did you say the blessing? That's all I want to know. Did you say the blessing?
No.
Well, you'll have a belly ache. All right, I'm done. You're gonna separate this. You got his pieces.
He done ate most of his pieces.
Okay.
They're under here though.
Well, he ain't been getting them. He's been grabbing one off the top.
He didn't complain about it.
Well, let him go. I'm just gonna try to separate the heart when it comes out. You didn't want it with the other, did you?
Yeah, I don't want it with others.
Look at that gravy. How we gonna dip that up with that spoon, them holes in it?
I got a good different spoon.
Look at it. You can't even dip your gravy. It just runs through the... Boy. Why in the world you make a spoon with a hole in the bottom of it? Somebody answer me that. What good's a spoon with a hole in it? You see that? Look. And the worst thing in the world is you get your cornbread all in your plate and dip into them pot of turnip greens, and you want that juice to saturate that cornbread, and all of it runs through a hole in the blooming spoon. Makes you so mad you could bite nails. We got a mess made over
Tommy,
here.
Tommy said that's a dice thing.
There you go. Well, hey, if you'd name it that, I bet you we could sell them like hotcakes. Make our first million with them Dyke spoons. I guess we could do a Dyke fork and remove 2 of the prongs. All right, we through with all of this?
Yeah. Y'all want to see him wash dishes?
Ha! They don't pay enough for that. If they gonna watch me wash dishes, they better start. If you watch me wash dishes over here, they gonna have to be some money start popping up on the screen. I ain't washing dishes. I'll go get the pressure washer and we'll set them down there and let Roscoe polish them up good. By the time I got through washing all them dishes, my blue jeans would be plumb filthy.
Your brother said you didn't need a spoon. You just dip your biscuit in it, I guess. That'll work too, won't it?
Dip my biscuit in it.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah. That is the first time I've ever seen my brother on there. Thank you. Rubidoux Creek Outdoors, keep at it. I got a knife riding in my door pocket that Rubidoux Creek sent me. If y'all would like to watch somebody work on old knives and polish them up and clean them up and this, that, and other, he got a good channel doing all that, among some other stuff they do. Him and old Kojak. Mark Woodward said down here on the coast they keep developing everything. It's going to be have to find a mud hole to fish in and a hedgerow to deer hunt in. Well, in order to narrow it down for you, you could get them hemmed up like that, you know. That's probably what needs to happen up here. And they shared a lake. They are draining the Neshoba Lake over here. And man, that lake got some big crappie in it. I seen some that come out of there last year. And they got it so low now you can't take a boat, but they've lifted all the limits. Now all of a sudden them fish that they'd have fined you for 6 months ago, they begging somebody to come get them out of there now. So anyway, you got to fish from a banco, and they do catfishing rodeos over there, so I know it's got catfish in it too. I think Brother Mike Reeves is the one that shared a post about it and asked about it, so he,
Dad,
what?
did you know that Indians use the animals to make their teepees?
Yeah, used animal hides.
Yeah.
Sure did. We didn't have to use one, did we? Mike Culpepper, I think we got about the same amount. Mike said we lacked 12 inches having a foot of snow. That's just how much we got. If we'd have just had 12 more inches, we'd have had a foot. That's pretty good, Mike. You did good on that one. I got to give you credit on that. William Roberts, thank you. He said that was a fine supper we're cooking. Anytime you can come in and eat swam off the land, and we have made a pact this month that we wasn't going to go buy any meat and stuff. Now, we have got some meat that we store-bought in the freezer, but we're not going to buy nothing else. We're going to strictly eat stuff out of the freezer. Brody, quit giving the dog your food. Roscoe.
Brody's feeding Roscoe all the deer meat.
Yeah. Don't get no more if you're just going to give it to the dog. Not till my belly is full. Is that done?
Oh, I don't know. I ain't checked it.
Oh, Lord, it's floating. You run off with my... that's why I can't cook and do live sometimes. I think it's just right.
What's the matter, bud?
I want to.
We'll give it to Lucky. That's a little bitty piece. She'll eat it.
He just wants to give it to the dog. Don't get no more.
And then
Was it a fat piece or something?
it was a big fat little piece.
It was a fat
I
little
don't eat
piece.
it. I don't eat it. I was
Okay.
through with it.
Well, we got a whole heart and a whole backstrap out of a deer y'all got to see me shoot. I figured I'd get my channel took down because I smoked him right there live before your eyes.
Oh, you did it on live?
I shot him. I wasn't live, but I filmed it. I mean, it's a whoom, and I mean, smoked this. Boy, that feather, I did good. That feather dropped down right there in that one shot. It might have been what saved me from getting banned, you know. Now, this spoon's got holes in it, makes sense, you know. It left the grease in there and got the meat out, so there, we figured out why you need a... And y'all, everybody has went crazy over this cup. I have got more comments on this cup right here in the last, especially on Facebook. Y'all, I ain't been paying no good attention to them numbers. I looked at Facebook, that thing is near about got 60,000 subscribers on it. I said, whoo, but they won't pay me nothing. They said I got too much tragedy and conflict going on there. I said, all right then.
Tragedy and conflict.
Tragedy and conflict. I paid for that blue check mark on there where I could talk to them and see if they'd lifted. And they, you know what they told me? Do what I already had done. And, well, that was worth it. I probably ain't gonna pay for that next month. I didn't see where it benefited me. Now, I will tell you this. When you pay for that blue check mark, they will promote your stuff on there then. I've got a lot more views since then.
I thought you was watching.
So anyway, are we ready to eat?
Yeah, I'm doing my baked potato.
I'm fixing to take this and set it up over here then.
Brady, go get the remote and change it then.
What? What is he worried about?
He said something bad was on
He
TV.
keeps saying
He
that.
said
Just
that
stay
one
out.
when I went in there was Paw Patrol.
Stay out from in there
I said,
then,
Paw Patrol
son.
ain't bad.
Oh, look at these cat head biscuits, y'all. Man. Look at that. Look at that biscuit, y'all. Jerry Clywer said to make a puppy pull a freight train. Man. Ah. Sometimes I have to remember this. CJ sent me this, so I prop it up over here at the end of the bar. She done shoved the bread machine all in front of it.
I'm gonna go on the other side.
Where's my, oh, I'm gonna get me some tea.
We got a paper towel, so we'll have to use a.
You ain't got no paper rag. You
No.
can get some of this cardboard Brody's ripped up off the...
Anybody else ever run out of paper towels, or is it only one?
We ain't been to town since Christmas. I mean, I ain't kidding either.
Not to the grocery shop.
Not to do much of nothing. How y'all like that? That good or enough? Oh, Lord. We got ketchup. I got my drink. Y'all like my cup? Look at her. M4 Laser Works. Laser Addict sent that. You can go to M4 Laser Works and I think he can get you one if you want it. You red eye, you gonna sit down so we can say grace? My grandpa said turn thanks. Get where and read this. Thank you, Lord, for the woods and the creek. Thank you, Lord, for the food we eat. Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim. Thank you, Lord, for all of them. Thank you, Lord, for the plants that grow. Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe. Thank you, Lord, for the birds that sing. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, now.
I'm telling you what, you got us about smothered in here. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to open the door.
Well, it's gonna have to turn cold. If it don't hurry up and turn cold, we're gonna burn up. Look at that gravy. I'm fixing to spoon it over on that. And then you know what I'm gonna have for dessert? I already got it planned out for dessert. I'm gonna go get another one of them cat head biscuits, and I'm gonna pour that saga molasses on top of it, and go into a diabetic coma probably from eating it, so much sugar. I said I was gonna cut back on my sugar because this part of my body is growing a lot here lately, and it could definitely have some something to do with that knee problem. I don't know, but I don't think my knee is arthritis.
You know, I did go in the grocery store yesterday, but I forgot to get paper towels.
Where'd you go buy?
Milk. We'd run out of milk, and I picked up some eggs. Our chickens ain't laying, so I had to get some eggs.
I hadn't tried to get the chickens to lay. I hadn't. Usually, whenever I turn the Christmas lights off, I take one of my timers and go out there and put a light on that and put it on a timer. But I hadn't fooled with it yet this year. I've had deer hunting on my mind. But I'm done. I quit today. I said today was my last day doing it. All right, what am I missing? No, David Russian, we didn't waste nothing. In fact, we made them coyotes plumb mad when we hauled what was left off.
Laura, I didn't cut the grease off.
We had a house party.
I cut it off now.
I ain't even tried the heart. Oh, that's tender. Oh, yeah. And they probably 100 different ways to cook that. But that's a good way right there. Yeah, them biscuits is gonna give that deer meat a good run for its money on which one's the best. Brody done went and got him on.
I hate being sitting here eating in front of everybody.
You know they starving to death watching this. They might have just got up from the supper table and they're gonna be hungry.
What you playing?
He's got him a horse and a machine gun. It can't be good. It'd be like them folks I was watching on the television the other night. It's been a long time. I watched that Public Enemy. It's got old Johnny Depp in it. You know, they pretending to be Dillinger and Capone and all them. And they burnt some gunpowder up in that movie. Almost as much gunpowder as they used up in the Untouchables. That was my movie for the month, I reckon.
Frank wants to know why aren't the chickens laying eggs.
Chickens don't lay eggs a lot this time of year because of the short days. It gets less daylight, and it's God's way of giving them a break. And I think it's healthier for your chickens to let them have that break and then boost it. And if you force them to lay all winter, I feel like your chickens will quit laying eggs earlier in their life than. But that's just a theory. I have absolutely no proof of that. I do not. I wouldn't sit there and argue with somebody that said otherwise because I do not know.
Sourdough pretzel. Boy, that sounds good.
Mark Woodward said he used to have thousands of acres to hunt, now he's down to people's yards. I seen some videos somewhere where they was literally bow hunting in people's yards somewhere. I don't know if it was in Florida or where. They got a YouTube channel. I ain't watched it in a long time, but it was basically a nuisance control type of deal. They in there eating people's hedges and stuff up. So they go in them subdivisions and set up and hunt them deer with a bow. They can't shoot them with a firearm. They have to bow hunt them. So I guess there's.
I know they expensive at the grocery store.
Yeah, I don't like going and buying them when I got chicken.
I thought, well, I'll get one of them big old boxes of eggs to keep from having to go back. But they was like $20-something, and I said, no, I'm not gonna do that.
I can't even move for the dogs under my feet.
Go!
Get this cord up for one of them tangles up in it. I can't move my screen because my hands is greasy. We might as well set this over here.
Frank, that's what I paid, $7 for a dozen. Well, I found out. So at our grocery store, like the regular like white eggs and stuff was $7 and something a dozen. But they had these brown eggs that look like yard eggs, and they was $4.99 a dozen. So I got them. You would think that them were more expensive.
But you can crack that egg open and it's still clear and yellow on the inside. It don't matter what color the outside is. You can't tell a bit of difference. And I promise you there's some folks out there that'll argue different. Oh no, you can tell. Get down from up
Come on
there.
down.
He's up over our head. He'll be throwing bombs on us in a minute.
Come on down.
He's about as bad as New Gene Ledbetter.
Appalachian Explorers says Brody's doing some good sound effects fighting his war.
Yeah. He's good at men dying. He'll get over there in the floor and have them little men, and my men fought. Brody's is dinosaur food. He'll get some dinosaur over there, and it'll just be gobbling them men up. He'll have them shoved in its mouth, and they make an awfulest racket when they die like that. Just you ought to hear him. He'll be, oh. I said, son, them men is having it rough, ain't they? We've had a couple of Nerf gun wars here folks recently.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that later.
Okay. Well, don't pull everything.
Hunting for hookers, we are frying deer meat. Or have fried it. We commenced to consuming it now. We're over here getting fat and happy now. Alicia said she was going to water glass some eggs. You talking about like with the lye? Putting them in the lye and preserve them? Lime, or is it lime water or something? Lime, it ain't lye, it's lime
I was
water.
gonna say, I don't think it's live.
No, hopefully not. You can't never tell though. Jenny Bear said she had 2 gallons of water glassed eggs. You know, we need to attempt that. It's sometime in the summer. We'll be getting so many, I'll just be wasting them, really. But I don't like to. I'd eat more of that deer meat, but them 2 biscuits put a hurting on me. And I eat dinner today. I had deer meat for dinner. We had a deer roast last night. We took one of those muscles out of the hind quarter. I packaged them up whole, and we put it in a crock pot with carrots, and I don't know what all else to put in there.
He's saying we. But as y'all can see from tonight, there wasn't no we to it. He did kill it. Now I can say he killed it and he had it packaged up. All I had to do was take it out of the freezer. But there wasn't no we cooking it.
I got busted, didn't I? I let her have that one. She needs to win occasionally. Guilty as charged.
Kip said Chad and Ashley Benson and me are watching from the Gulf of America. What is the Gulf of America?
They're on a ship.
Oh, y'all are on one of them cruises.
They on a boat. Did you take your fishing poles? Surely you got your cane pole.
Is that the gospel cruise?
I don't know, but you be sitting on the back of it like Hubbard made with your pole and your knees up by your ears, watching your cork bounce over them waves.
He said, Phil said when he says we, ask him if he's got a mouth.
Yeah. What was that when he said, of course, when I said, oh, it was on the Grinch. He said, grab a bag, Max, and we'll come back for the rest later. He said, of course, when I say we, I mean you. That's what I meant.
Come on, Greg, come on through and eat some.
Greg, come on. We'll fix you right up. I promise you, there's more right there than I need to eat. I will not say more than I can eat because I can put away some groceries when it's good eating like this. And you know what blows my mind? Everybody could eat like that if they wanted to, but there's folks that'll leave home and go to town and go get fast food and eat it. She'll leave him. I've noticed here lately that she's always got to ship something right about dinner time. About 10, 11 o'clock. Well, I got to take this to town and mail it. I got to go do this. And I do some investigation when she ain't looking. And I'll go out there and either peek in the garbage can or in the floor of her truck. And sure enough, there'll be a Sonic bag in there every time. So I done figured out she's planning them trips strategically.
Not every time.
Yeah.
I like Taco Bell sometimes.
Yeah. And offered me that stuff one day. I said, no, thank you. Now, if I'm on the road traveling and we going somewhere, I'd rather pull in, if I'm in a hurry to get somewhere, that is, and grab something quick and go. And like when we on the road, we try to stop and eat one decent meal, usually late in the evenings. Sometimes we'll just eat a good meal about 3:30, 4 o'clock and be done with it. Don't eat too, you know. But I'll eat fast food. I'm on the road, you know, and it's just pull in, grab it, and go. It makes sense for that. But leave the house and go to town to eat it. I don't understand that, y'all. Not none.
Kip said that they had stood around and eat till it was time to go eat. Did they give y'all deer meat?
Oh, in other words, y'all grazing.
Tommy said Taco Bell is good if you're constipated.
That it is. Yeah.
Look, Owen, if I go to Sonic every time, I don't like the hamburgers, but I will get me a chili dog every time. With me and Justin, now he likes seeing him Sonic sometimes when we go. He'll get a burger and I get me a chili dog.
I want a burger and I want them to put a fistful of jalapeno peppers on it. Because I think the next day you should be reminded of the ignorance by the pain and the punishment. You feel like you're getting your money's worth.
Now I like potted meat too. But I like potted meat on a piece of loaf bread. I don't really like it on a cracker. But I like to get one piece of loaf bread and you smear that potted meat on there and you fold it over.
Yeah, Alicia, I don't like fast food. If I had to quit eating it, I don't think I would miss it unless I was on the road and was hungry and that was all it was, and I was like, well, I can't stop and eat that. You know, then it might be a problem, but just in general principle, no.
You gonna hurt your
And I'll
leg,
tell you
man.
this, and you can mitigate that if you plan ahead a little bit and put a cooler in the back of the truck and put you some sandwich stuff in there. There's been several times we've been on the road, especially with that set-week cooler refrigerator. We pack it full of stuff and stop at a picnic area and make sandwiches right there, and you're a whole lot better off. A South meat sandwich is good in the middle of the day. I can't get her to eat one though.
I don't like South meat. Larry Alexander said save some biscuits and meat for breakfast.
Well, if I do that, Larry, it might break her from cooking them in the mornings. You don't want to. Once you get a woman trained to cook in the mornings, you don't want to go to breaking them from that.
Lionel Massey says, what is a good prep marinade for deer meat?
We don't marinate it at all. We put it in we dipped it in that milk, and then you put a little hot sauce in it and some pepper and salt. And we dipped it in that milk and then went into the flour. And that's it. If I'm going to marinate anything like a steak, or if I'm marinating deer meat and I'm going to grill it like a steak out there, my go-to usually is Dale's seasoning and Italian dressing, mixed at about 50-50. And that's what I like. I'll usually go to that every time.
Your brother said, did you say you ground your coffee?
Sometimes I didn't grind this.
We don't have any whole beans right now, do we?
No, not right now. And I don't even know where my coffee grinder is.
It's over there in the coffee basket. I move his stuff around pretty regularly.
I come in about half the time and the furniture's in a different place. Our next chairs, we're gonna put wheels on the bottom of all of them. Just make it easy on yourself. But we got one of them hand crank coffee grinders, and I found out real quick that if you'll unscrew that little thing on the top and pull it off, that little handle will slide right off.
Don't kick that.
And that thing will slide right up in a 1/2-inch drill, and you chuck it down on there, and man, it'll grind that coffee up just lickety-split. Jeff, that is my brother. I have one brother and one sister.
We use Italian salad dressing to marinate a lot of our meat.
Yeah,
I actually put that on my deer roast last night.
Yeah. I really need to attempt to make my own dressing. I watched Justin Wilson make some stuff. He started with a 1/2 cup of olive oil, and then I don't know what all he wound up putting in there. Some Worcestershire and hot sauce, and I don't know what all. Lemon juice. But I think he was making a thing for his shrimp, because I think he wound up using ketchup and pecani sauce in it. But sauces is something I would really like to learn to make, because we use a lot of Italian dressing as a marinade. And anytime I'm cooking out there like a Boston butt, I'll put it on that smoker in a metal pan. I'll put a 1/2 bottle of Italian dressing and then about an equal amount of that Dale seasoning in the bottom of it to cook it in. And it's fine that way.
Well, there was that ranch bottle.
You through with it?
Yeah. y'all see our cups? I don't think he posted a video on it, but I like my cup. And then Brody's got his right here, but he hadn't used it yet. He said it was for hunting.
Give it to me.
Sit down before you
Don't fall out of that chair. Mine's got a handle on it, and then I got a shorter one. I don't know where I've done with it. I've taken it around with coffee in it this
Mine is
morning.
the best.
Now Roscoe's getting him some food. Oh, Lucky, you want to wash his plate?
Dad, watch this.
If y'all hear that banging, Brody keeps banging his chair in the bar.
He's knocked all the varnish off the back of my chairs right here where they twist around and hit that bar, every one of them. And then when he gets it beat all off of one, then he moves to a different chair and starts working on it.
Dad.
What, son?
There's a...
Talk to me.
There's a thing. Quit.
He can't open his... There you go. It's got a straw on it.
Yeah, that's so cool. My cup is the best.
I was going to have me some dessert, y'all, with a biscuit and some molasses, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to have to wait a little while. My old belly's full. But now Brody's still scratching in that pan of deer meat there. Yeah, it's good, ain't it? Yeah, Tommy, I watch him. He likes that red wine. Now, Justin Wilson's gonna pour him about a good swallow of wine in that glass. Philip said Brody's trying to make a matching set. He about got a matching set made out of these. There ain't no denying. If I ever was gonna resell them, I'd have to sand them down and revarnish them. I bought these at the local thrift store. They got them ball and claw feet on them, and the lady up there, she called me. She said, "I know you like them ball and claw feet. I got some chair." I said, "I'll be up there to get them in a minute."
Dad, have you ever eaten
What it was,
steak?
she didn't want to unload them and them have to store them in the store.
Dad.
Jeff, I doubt I done put one of them deer in the cooler, and the 8-point is still hanging up over there. I doubt I've done some skinning videos this year already. I doubt I'm gonna film skinning this one. I skinned that one last night. But I got a couple of deer skinning videos already made. George, we didn't get any snow here. Not any. We lacked 12 inches having a foot. That's what Mr. Mike Culpepper told us a while ago. Add a 2-liter Coke. Glenn Forrester said he put a 2-liter Coke in his roast in the crock pot. I have never tried that. I will say I seen old William Collins one day, WC Knives. He cooked some, I think it was beef, but he put a can of pineapples in there. Well, I tried that, and it was very good, provided you like pineapples, and I do. But if you like pineapples in general, it was delicious. Pineapples, you can do the slices. I did the cubes, but the pineapple in there was delicious. BKS, we usually get our molasses from John Anthony's syrup mill here in town. We know them real well. Usually we'll just go by there and get it, but it is some of the same that they have at Williamsville. I think, don't John Anthony have syrup at Williamsville, Michelle?
I think so.
I think that's probably John Anthony's syrup you buying at Williamsville. You look on the label, that Sagar molasses, Williamsville, most likely it's got John Anthony's name on it. And that we know them, and usually we buy it from them, but so the Coke will absolutely tenderize it. I have heard of people using kiwi fruit to marinate steaks in to help tenderize them. Mike Reeves, I ain't been down in the show late, but I tell you what, if you'll come down here, me and you'll go over there and we'll work them over. I know there's catfish, brim, crappie, bass. They've caught some 14-pound bass out of there.
Mom. Mom, can you...
Glenn, I'll have to try that with a Coke. Michelle, you should have put a bottle of Coke in there with that we cooked last night. Jeff, yeah, that ice is a mess. I'd heap rather have snow than I had ice. Honest to God, I agree with you there now. It'll break all the limbs down, trees be laying down the road, roads be so slick you can't go nowhere.
Mom. What?
What?
Mike, the bait shop ain't opened up, but if we had us a bucket of minnows, I guarantee you we'd go over there and wear them out. Them crappie in that lake, the last time I was there, I went with a buddy of mine. He was in his boat and I was in my boat. He caught the limit of slab crappie and I never caught but 2. I caught 2 crappie. All I had was jigs and he was fishing minnows. So I don't hardly go to a new place without minnows. Now, if I go somewhere that I know they'll bite jigs, I don't worry about it. But if I'm going to a new place, I'm about going to have me a bucket of minnows from now on. I don't like to use minnows, but if that's what it takes to catch fish, I ain't above using minnows. I like to catch fish, not try to show you how good a fisherman I am. You know what I mean, Vern? Backyard Beasley said he put a can of Dr. Pepper in a roast. Michelle, have you tried any of this?
I think I put a Coke in a roast before.
I missed that, Mitch. Oh. Where is Eric? Let me scroll back up. Eric and Barbara. There's Mr. Dowie Smith. There it is, Eric and Barbara Fleming.
Here.
Zay. Hey, buddy. I still don't see the comment. I don't know how.
Hey, bring it in here for living room.
What? This?
Why?
I still don't see that comment, Mitch. But anyway, hey there, Zay. I don't think it showed up on my feed for whatever reason.
Oh, I see it on mine.
Under whose name?
Well, now I gotta go back and find it.
Oh well. We got it done anyway. I still don't see it on mine. I promise it ain't on my screen.
Sometimes they come up so fast you can't keep up with all.
Well, I scrolled back, but I don't. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't. These electronic gadgets sometimes give you fits, and you be trying to do all you can do, but it's hard to keep up with and stay engaged. Otherwise, I just look like I'm sitting here, you know, like we do at Christmas. We all sitting around staring at our phone. Yeah, y'all did it too. Huckleberry, how are you? Huckleberry's your granddaughter watching. She likes to see Brody. I can't even remember her name. Remind me, what is her name? I should know. Mike Culpepper, yeah, they make Sagra molasses, ribbon cane, I don't know what all. Oh, it's out here on 21 North. If you leave Philadelphia on 21 going north, it'll be on the left, a big old syrup mill. They got big old silver tanks laying all over the yard, trucks parked everywhere. You'll know it's a syrup mill when you go by. Millie, that's her name. Millie likes to see Brody on here. Deaver said I need to wear a blonde wig like that Cajun guy that beats on them pots and pans. I feel like that probably ain't the only reason that fella wears that wig, if you want to know the truth. I don't know what to think about a fella that wears a wig, but he gets under my skin something ferocious. Every time I see one of his videos pop up, I think, man, that guy, he got autism bad. Nancy Pierce, I really don't know what I'm going to do with that meat in that smokehouse, honestly. My whole reason for putting that meat in that smokehouse is to try to learn if something happened and we lost power, could I preserve a deer that I had killed? That is my whole reason for doing it. It is not to try to say, look how good a meat I make, or look, you know, because I could go to putting it in a refrigerator to do it a different way, or, you know, but that defeats the whole purpose of my reason for wanting to learn it. It's about, if I had to go back to the old ways, well, then you ain't got time to start trial and error then in a necessity situation. I'm trying to learn what can I do to preserve meat. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. We're going to get it out, cook it, smoke it. Last time I did this, I smoked one in a smoker out there that I had cooked. We got it out, rehydrated it in a cooler of water. So we may do that again. I don't know. John Thomas, they ain't nothing better than biscuits and molasses. Now, I'm going to tell you, I like some biscuits and molasses. And the molasses that we got in there, I'm talking about they thick, son, and dark, dark, dark. They slow getting poured out on the biscuit, though. Michelle is dying for me to get the whole operation moved in there in the living room. I was afraid it was. I was afraid it about too hot in here in front of this fireplace.
Put the camera over there.
Put it over there and me get on the couch.
You may have to raise the legs.
Well, we're going to cut all them lights off in the background over there.
We made y'all dizzy.
Yeah, but all them bright lights back there. Brody's going to get right in front of it. I wanted to set my recliner. Oh! There. Look. Look at this fella. Scoot over. You can sit where you can get on that side. Scoot over. Please. Please cooperate. Oh. I don't know, Michelle. We got them so far off now they can't even see us. And Brody's going to get over there and monkey. He likes to dance around on that camera and watch himself over here. Lena Massey, I have made deer jerky. Let me go see if I can find the deer jerky. I'll show you what I made because my daughter confiscated the whole bag. She's done went through a whole. This was a full gallon bag of jerky. Look at the dogs coming.
Roscoe wants some.
It's done dried out some. Brody don't like it.
Look, won't you go in there and watch your show? Y'all point the gun at people. I don't care if it's not real. Thank you.
What'd he do?
Roscoe just wanted to put his face in the camera and thing. He wouldn't tell everybody hey.
Well, Uncle Sasquatch wanted to see him, I can promise you. Yeah.
Thank y'all. We like it. It's comfy in here. Comfortable. Except it's a little warm right now.
Yeah, we sweating in here right now. Greg, you got that right. You reach over here and take hold. Roscoe, he gets over here. Look, this is where he stays. I got my blanket. Of course, I don't need my blanket today. That's my blanket Miss Mary sent me. It stays right over here. Me and Roscoe get over here in the mornings and drink our coffee. And he likes to get under that blanket. But now at night, if I reach over there and take hold of that lever and pull it and them feet come out, man, you'll hear me snoring here shortly. I'm barely in the camera. Let's see if we can
Pull
read.
up a little bit. Yeah.
Let's see if we can make this better. We're trying to make y'all's experience a little more enjoyable. Brody has got him a hobby horse or a stick horse.
Jesse wants to know what you charge for your knives.
Oh, I need to try to work on a video on the knives, but the average price is $150, especially for the Jonah knife like what I carry, and that's what I use most of the time. What I'm going to do is I've got to get somebody to build me a website. My daughter told me, she said, I ain't got time to do it, Daddy. And I don't know if I got enough sense to build it like I want to, so I may have to find somebody to pay somebody to build me a website, because I'm wanting a website set up with the knives to where you can go on there and select the design that you want and then start adding options and charge like $10 if you want a lanyard and a lanyard hole in it. If you want liners in there, spacers between the blade and the wood handle, another $10, because every one of those things that I have to do, it just adds a little time to building the knife. And it ain't like, well, I want to charge you a whole big bunch for it, but it needs to regulate where you could save some money by not getting all those options if you didn't want them. And then if you wanted everything you can get, you could have it. And that way you could then look at each design, and then you could select which wood you wanted for a handle. And that way I could keep up with everything like that, because I'm losing orders because of the way I'm handling it. If somebody messages me, if I open that message, son, put that gun down. You like to hit mom in the head with it. If I open that message and I'm not where I can write that order down and that name, then I lose it, because by the time I get back, I done forgot about it. I done had 2 or 3 other messages, or 20, and the bigger my Facebook is getting, it's getting out of hand. So, Lena Massey, yes, I built this house. I built. The only thing I did not do here is finish the concrete. Everything else I built. My dad helped me. Her daddy helped me. Her brother, my sister and them come up and help some. Different ones at different times come in and help me. Mainly me and my dad and her dad built the majority of it. I had different friends and different ones that helped do odd and end things. One of the guys that I worked with at the time, Jose, he helped me put the metal roofing on and a lot of the metal under the carport and stuff like that too. So, I didn't do it just completely by myself, but I ramrodded the whole thing, I can tell you that. Mike Culpepper, we are a fan of pressure can deer meat. In fact, I'm going to pressure can some of what I've got. I've got a deer that I'm probably going to grind the majority of it, so I've got to go get me some deer fat or not deer, but beef fat and pork fat. I'm going to make a little bit of sausage, and I want to do a lot of ground meat. Probably finna have to buy a vacuum sealer if we do the ground meat. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry, she is my dog.
Yeah, that there stays right under her.
Wherever I go, she goes. No matter
Her
what.
name is Lucky, Nancy. Brody, please don't run back through here. Don't do it no more.
Brody fixing to get in bad trouble. You might better go in there and watch Paw Patrol.
Randy, I like that old lever gun. I've been wanting one of them since the first one I saw. And they good guns. That one they cut the dovetail in the barrel crooked. I'm probably gonna send it back to Marlin and let them put a new barrel on it. It's on. It's okay now, but the sight that was on it broke. So Mr. Billy Skipper come up here and brought me a sight that he took off of an older gun, and I really like that sight better than the one Marlin put on it. The one Marlin put on there is like a flip sight, and I'm rough on stuff now. I don't baby guns. It gets thrown in the canoe. You saw me handling it in that video. It's laying in the bottom of the canoe. I mean, it's whatever I own has to go do its job. Oh, look at my pretty gun and prop it in the gun cabinet and let's tote it real careful to the deer stand. I don't do all that. It's a tool to me. I don't care what it costs. It gets thrown in the bottom of the canoe. It gets thrown in the buggy, on the seat, in the back of the buggy, wherever it's got to go. If I'm in the woods, if I had to swim the creek to go get a deer, it's got to go. And that little flimsy flip side on there broke off right straight. So the one that I'm going to keep on there is different, but the dovetail being crooked, it's going to bother me from now on. I've got it over in its own. I could leave it just like it is and hunt with it the rest of my life. It'd probably be fine. But for what I paid for it and the quality that they claim and they produce, I'm gonna make it right, I think. Now that deer season is about over for me, I'm going to probably mail it back to them. Mike said he ground 3 deer today. I got everybody's done but mine. I may need to talk to you again before I go to grinding all these up. Randall Hayes, I did have some misfires, but it was totally my fault. I was shooting that thing and I forgot it had a safety on it. And I didn't click it over on fire. I just backed the hammer and was shooting. And I shot 3 times before I realized that I had the safety on and turned the safety off, and then I smoked up. It's a good thing I was shooting at a retarded deer going, huh, what are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, Philip, it's hard to get used to it. And while the sight was broke off the 45-70, I was toting a 30-30, and it don't have all that. So, Brenda Joe, see you later. Thank you for joining us. Gypsy Rose is her dog. Greg, this is stained concrete. It was a Coca-Cola stain. We just slicked the concrete down, or they did. They somewhat slicked it down, I think. There's some bad places in. They didn't do a real good job. But I come in and I put the stain in a pump-up sprayer, and I just sprayed it real splotchy. I wanted it to swirl and look like marble, and it did that. It looks real good, and then we come in and cleared it, sealed it. It is due to be everything took out of here and mop it down good and reseal that concrete floor. But I don't regret my concrete floors. Michelle said she ain't a big fan of them, but I think it is mainly because they need resealing. They're not slick and shiny like they used to be. But the good thing about concrete floors is if you just ever decide, okay, I want tile, I want carpet, I want something else, I want wood floors, you can come in and put that over this. You ain't hurt nothing. And I saved a lot of money by just staining this and going with it at a time, which I like it. The color and all's good. But now we ain't got enough windows in my design here, and it gets dark in here. We could use some more lights, and I hadn't tried to make that happen.
Lucky's walking around looking for something.
Uncle Sasquatch, if it was a muzzle loader that I was building myself, I'd do that. But being I paid $1,200 for a Ruger on Marlin, I'm gonna let Ruger or Marlin or whoever they are make it right. That's what I'm gonna do. I, I'm gonna make them eat that one. Mike Culpepper used to do wild game processing professionally. Said he wasn't doing it no more. Yeah. Oh yeah, Uncle Sasquatch. Yeah. Hey, and don't think it didn't cross my mind. Cause I guarantee you, I cut the dovetail in that muzzleloader I built and it fit like a glove. I took my time and mine's square. Theirs ain't. And you know, I don't know how they got it crooked because I feel sure this is all done in a jig. And I don't know how in the world they got that at an angle in there. And it's a pretty good angle. I mean, it's a lot. Before I send it back, I'll do a video and I'll tap that out right before I send it back to them and show y'all what it's doing. Because I think there needs to be a video on there because everybody else's video on these Marlin rifles is oh how great and wonderful and that's what I was expecting. And when I got it, you know, I wasn't really that happy about it. Tennessee Smoky, I just call that little one a patch knife. I've got the Jonah, and then the Daniel is the Kephart design that I've got. That's basically a Jonah handle with a spear point knife. And then the Gideon is the short, stubby, skinning knife looking knife. And then the little patch knife is basically a small Jonah is what it is, just really small. And I just call it a patch knife. But we can sure do it. I am probably fixing to try to come up with a couple of new designs. I am fixing to start working on the fillet knife because by the time I master how I want to build it and design and all that, it's going to be getting close to wide open crappie filleting season. And they're going to be a huge hit at the time if they work good. And I want a scaler on the back of mine. I think a fillet knife, you don't always want to scale your fish, but like if I've got small crappie, I would like to scale that crappie and then just cut that fillet off and be done with it and not worry about trying to cut it back out of the scales too. So Tennessee Smoky, I don't have anything on my Etsy store. I can't keep up with the orders I'm making, so what I'm doing is somebody emails me or messages me on Facebook or wherever, and I write their name down, and when I get to it, then I'll email them an invoice. So just shoot me an email. Michelle, type my email in there to where he probably has it, but in case somebody else is wanting it, this email address that she's finna put under Southern Mud Pottery and Homestead.
Is it Justin Peden?
Justin Peden at Gmail. That way you'll know how to spell it. And you can email me there. Or if you're on Facebook, you can message me in the Facebook Messenger. I keep up with it pretty good. I've done Instagram some, but my problem with Instagram is I don't check Instagram messages often. And Instagram puts my messages in 4 different folders. And you got to go through all 4 of them. It's got primary, general, something else, and then hidden. And you got to check all 4 of them to find them because sometimes the hidden is usually that porn spam stuff. And it'll be just full of junk. But you got to go through it because every now and then there'll be somebody's mail that they trying to ask you a legitimate question. It'll get filtered over in there too, and I ain't seen it for months, because I don't dig in that all the time. Yes, we cook deer meat with Italian dressing. Good bit. Huckleberry, I am probably going to do a butcher style knife. In fact, I have got somebody asking about a butcher style knife. Not to mention, her daddy is wanting a butcher style, basically like a boning knife. You seen a kitchen boning knife? I've got a lot of people that they want a knife like that, a longer, slenderer blade, and they make a lot of sense. And I have made some in the past, but I need to. Um, I need to do some designing here pretty quick on some stuff. Nancy, I intended to make some. I'll tell you what happened. I've got covered up with orders, and I never got around to making any more of them. And they wasn't that hard. My biggest thing is it had a lot of curve to it. I didn't have a good way to make the curve. Oh, it's tough sometimes to do that curved design blade when I don't have my rollers set up to go in there because if it's not smooth, I hate to try to sit there and sell it because it just, I don't know, I want quality stuff. Richard T, I have not done any real thick blades. 3/32 is what most of my steel is right now. I may attempt to try to source out some different steel. The only problem is when I go to a different steel, I'm going to have to add a heat treating process to my metals because the one I am using right now, I trust and I know what it is and I know it'll hold an edge because I've got way too many of them out there that people are using every day, skinning deer, skinning pigs. I'm personally toting one of using it. I know what it'll do. But if I go to some other steel and start, either I've got to tote one a year and test it to see if it'll hold up, or either I've got to go to a heat treating. Well, when I go to a heat treating on a different steel, I'm going to have to add to the price. So for most people, that ain't a big deal, but just to be aware of that. And what I'll do is I'll quench it out there in forge in oil, and then I've got a little toaster oven, and I don't know that it's going to do what I want to do. I'm going to try it. Lena Massey said she'd never boil deer meat as in meat and potatoes. Let me tell you how to do that. Can some deer meat. When we went to pressure canned deer meat, now we don't pressure can all of our deer meat, okay? We keep a lot of deer meat for roast, ground meat. We keep deer meat to cut up to make steaks and all such as that. But we have been doing we done 2 deer, didn't we? Last year. I did one in the summer. I got one out of my pea patch is what happened. And I had to do something with it pretty quick, so I had the canner set up. I was canning stuff already, tomatoes and whatnot. So we canned deer. Once it's canned, all you got to do is pop the top off and you pour it in gravy. It's pretty well cooked at that point, and it's by far an easier, better way than just boiling deer meat, in my opinion. Now, I made some stews where I boiled some meat, and it turned out pretty good, but as far as like you're talking about meat and potatoes, if you had some canned deer meat, that'd be the thing to pour in that. Yes, Jesse Chavis, we fixing to go wide open squirrel hunting. Now, we're going to take Roscoe some, but right now, the way the squirrel hunting is this late in the year, it's tough hunting with a dog. He likes to run wide open, scares a lot off. I want to slip in and just sit down under a tree like I'm still hunting deer and plink at them here, there, and yonder. But right now, squirrel hunting is tough because there ain't no acorns this year. I mean, we just did not have very many acorns. So
Kathy wants us to say hey to her daughter Tiffany. Hey Tiffany. We are entertainment for Friday nights. Or Justin is. I'm not on here all the time.
Tiffany, how are you? Good. Thank you for joining in with us tonight and watching the show. We just sit here and answer questions and talk and carry on and just whatever. They ain't never no script. Tommy, I don't think it, yeah, it probably does get it hot enough. The problem with is these kills are set up to do it over a 12-hour period, and it takes entirely too long. If I need to quench knives and get them to non-magnetic, my buddy down here has got a little keel to do that in, that I could take 5 or 6 blades down there and stick them all in it at one time, and his little keel will go to that temperature in about an hour, and he's got all the stuff to do. I could just go down there and quench all my blades. He brought me a deer. One thing, I've got a pile of deer over there in my skinning shed that I've got to cut up because I've killed a deer. He killed an 8-point, brought it up here and gave it to me. And he said, hey, I want you to get my horns back for me, and I want you to make me rawhide out of the skin to wrap knife sheaths with. So, and that is his hide I'm making rawhide with out there right now. So, me and him swap out some stuff. I don't charge him for that, which he'd give me the deer. He said, I got plenty of deer meat. I don't need it. So, we just kind of help each other out. But I could go down there and quench my blades if I needed to in his keel. So, mine would do it, but it would just cost me a lot more money to do it in mine. Follower of Messiah, how are you? This is my wife, Michelle. For those of you that don't know her, she's got her own channel, Southern Mud Pottery on the Homestead. She hadn't been putting out a lot of videos because she's been busy making pottery and stuff, but her name is Michelle. We're trying to get her on some of the lives. A lot of people want to see her. And usually I just wind up sitting down out here talking and telling tales and all kind of such as that.
But I hadn't been able. This week's been yucky for making pottery. I can't when the temperature drops below 30 degrees, my keels are outside, and I can't fire my keels unless I put a heater out there, and I don't have a plug that would fit a little heater. It'll misfire over in the middle of the night. So I have to. When it gets this cold, I can't run my keel out there.
Uncle Sasquatch said, a.k.a. Marie Laveau.
Yeah.
That is her nickname. She got that nickname from being ill all the time, but she really wasn't ill. She just has this look that like she's mad all the time. One of my buddies started calling her Marie Laveau, and it stuck. Greg, how do you like that pole saw? I have used my pole saw more for like when I come up with firewood and I've got a whole bunch of these little sticks about that big around, I can take that little thing and cut them in half to feed that wood stove down there in the knife shop. And that's what I have used it the most for. But now I have still this spring, I have got a lot of limbing up around here I'm going to do. And stuff that I need to cut up, and I'll use it a lot for that, I'm sure. So,
Uncle Sasquatch, what you talking about? You working on a trip to the emergency room? I hope not.
He said, I am talking about you.
I was?
He said, I'm working on a trip to the emergency room by talking about you.
See? I have to read into it. Justin has to explain it.
I wind up explaining a lot of stuff, but it's all right. She's a good cook. Oh, she didn't get that either, did she? Frank Lent, you going to bed on us. Have a good night. It's about time to check your eyelids for cracks anyway, ain't it? John Edwards asked, could you teach people on Sugar Creek Road in Carriere how Southern hospitality actually works? Oh, I don't know. Your question really confused me. I don't know anything about Sugar Creek Road or nothing about career. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Oh, now I get what he was talking about because he called me Marie, aka Marie.
Yeah.
I got it. I called up.
Tennessee, yeah, keeping her on here keep me honest. That is for sure. Jimmy Nunn, how are you tonight? Thank you for watching.
They's a bunch going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Them folks on the East Coast over there, it's already 10 o'clock, and they've been.
Roscoe's walking around.
He's pacing back and forth out there. He's probably the coyotes is out there showing out by now. Them coyotes will get out there and get to carrying on.
I
And
better go get him.
old Roscoe, him and Roxanne, they give them fits out there. But I haven't heard them in the last 2 weeks. I actually took Michelle with me. We got them night vision binoculars and went down there, was going to set up. And the only thing I saw out there eating my rabbits was the hoot owls. I mean, the hoot owls is giving them what for out there.
He's cold. Ooh, goodies.
Greg, you'll get a lot of use out of that.
Uh-oh.
Jeff asked, was I going to tell a Jerry Clower story? You know, I don't know. I had thought about one the other day I was listening to. Oh, talking about old Eugene. You know, I was telling y'all a while ago about Brody was about as bad as Eugene Ledbetter. Eugene's the meanest young'un that ever was. He was also the lion Ledbetter. Old Eugene would climb a tree to tell you a lie when he could stand on the ground and tell the truth. And, you know, Eugene is the one that saw the lion in the yard. Turned out it wasn't nothing but a dog, you know. But old Eugene, he is bad to lie. And it worked on up into his later years as he got to be older. And he was going to church and he was doing pretty good, but old Eugene is still, he just lied. I mean, he just couldn't believe nothing he said. Some of the men of the church got together with the pastor down there in Amite County, and they said, you know, we're going to teach old Eugene a lesson. Said, I believe if we come up with the most outlandishest lie you ever heard and told it to him for the truth, that he'd see how ridiculous he looks and it'd stop him from telling them lies. And they all agreed, and they nominated the preacher to do the telling the tale. So they got together and they went to Eugene's house, knocked on the door. Y'all come in. You know, they all sat down in there. He got them a cup of coffee and they sat around talking, and the preacher commenced to telling a tale. He said, Eugene, he said, the last Lord's Day, he said, I was in the pulpit preaching. He said, I was preaching fire and brimstone down from heaven. He said, and lo and behold, the back doors of that church busted wide open. He said, and in the door come a grizzly bear. I mean, a big old bear. Said that thing come in. He said, fur was flying. He said, right in on him, he said, they was a little old bitty fast dog. And said it lit into that bear and said it was just tearing him up. Front row of the altar, back and forth across the altar, fur was flying. Said women was screaming. Said people was running out the doors. He said they wallered down the first 6 rows of pews. He said, and would you believe not only did that little old bitty fast dog whoop that grizzly bear, but he completely consumed that bear. He said, Eugene, you believe that? And Eugene said, heck yeah, that was my dog. Tommy said that watermark on the screen down there, he said he thought you done got an ankle tattoo. We got all of them in here, Jeff, except Roxanne. She's out there on patrol. I hear her barking right now, so.
She'll be in here shortly.
Yeah.
She sleeps inside at night.
Follower of Messiah said he got some Doberman Lab puppies just born. Doberman Lab. Boy, what a mix.
I bet them will be some big puppies.
Most likely.
Brody's gonna knock the camera down.
Brody's practicing his baseball slide. He don't even know nothing about baseball. Get up there. Just get up here. Come on. He wanted up here and see it. This is his spot right here. I'll be up here laid up doing something, and he'll get bottom side upwards, and I mean stick all 4 feet up in the air.
Jeff Guns, well, it's cold here, but I'm sure it's not as cold as it is in Michigan. It's cold for us.
What are you holding up in front of the camera?
Mr. Kenneth says, hi, Brody. Tell him hi.
Kenneth Greenhall.
He's acting silly. He's trying to get some attention tonight.
That's his granddaughter, Willow. Brody, tell Willow hi. Go say hey,
Willow.
He's showing out.
Jeff, yeah, the little dog that she's petting, that was Uncle Jesse's. Somebody gave it to him, and he kept it, what, a year?
Yeah.
It stayed outside on the porch, and we had one of the coldest winters that year. It got down in the teens for a while that year. And that was in what, like 2012?
Well, I figured her age up. She's probably going on 11. Close to 11.
Philip, me and you both. If I had that boy's energy right there, I'd be probably crippled by now.
Oh, Roscoe's and brought his toy in here.
What's he got, his pig?
It knows red. I don't know who sent us this. Who sent us this in the mail?
I can't remember. And
But
God, please forgive us, because whoever it is probably watching going, I sent that. We've been sent so much stuff, y'all, I can't keep it all straight.
But I tell you what, he loves this thing.
Yeah. He's got a pile of toys that's been sent to him. Well, he liked to knock her head off. Randy, I don't really have a preferred way of making coffee. I just like coffee. When I'm outside with my wood stoves, yeah, I like that percolator coffee. It's my most fun way of making it and messing with it. We're fixing to lose power on that. It's saying the battery's low.
Jeff said he had a knee replacement. My sister-in-law had a knee replacement not too long ago.
Brody, please get out from in front of the sun. B. Grimes, that canned deer meat is the way to go. But Randy, to answer your question about the coffee, it's easy in the mornings to come in here and just make coffee in that old coffee pot, because my percolators take a long time to do, so I struggle to want to use that all the time for that reason. I'm usually in too big a hurry. That's my fault. Jenny said the audio was glitching bad.
Maybe losing. Well, today it says low battery on there.
Yeah. I need to go find something else to charge that up. I don't have another cord.
Our internet,
not in here. I got one outside.
We have Starlink. It went out for about an hour today.
I gotta find some way to charge that up while I'm using my cord over here on this, and that is on 32%.
Yeah, Danita said it's glitching for her too.
Let me go find something.
Brody, don't go up there.
You talk to him. I'm gonna see if I can find the charger cord and plug that up right quick.
Is the audio real bad, y'all? Black 85 Chevy. Hello, how are you tonight? Shh. Brody's gonna get right up in it and he's gonna talk to y'all. He's on one tonight. Yeah, Elon let me down today because it was on
Be quiet,
for a
be
good
quiet,
hour.
be quiet. Be quiet.
We had to come in and
Be
unplug it.
quiet.
If you're going to sit there, you're going to have to talk to him. Tell him, hey.
Hey.
I don't know what made him start showing out so bad. I hear it.
Yeah. Be quiet.
Quit, Brady. Nobody wants to see down your mouth. Justin had to go find us a cord. The phone that we got recording over here is about to die.
Yeah. Can somebody get that off of there? Yo, my daddy shot a big deer. Like the size. Like the size.
He's going to tell y'all about his daddy's deer.
Oh, no, don't do that.
I did it.
Huh?
I didn't say about you killing.
I thought he said his daddy seen a deer.
I said I said you seen a deer.
All right, let me plug
But you
this
didn't. And I
up.
said you seen a deer.
Okay,
Daddy
okay,
didn't shoot it.
we hear you. All right, I got some battery hooked up to that. Now this one is on 31%. I don't know if it's gonna make it or not.
Look, they want to know
I had
if you
to go-
like, Brady, they want to know if you like hunting or fishing better.
I like hunting the best.
You sure?
Or fishing.
I like hunting.
You don't like to fish better? You
I
go
like both.
fishing more than you go hunting. Every time I've asked him to go hunting, I don't want to.
He's showing out tonight.
He's desperate for attention. So y'all, did y'all hear about old Leroy and his tough hunting season? I did a reel on Facebook. How many of y'all heard that? Butterfly Farm said, hey, little buddy.
Hey.
Jeff said, do you like him Gruntle?
Yeah.
Is Gruntle good eating?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that won't eat a Gruntle. Something wrong with them, ain't it? Yeah, that deer meat got him. I'm gonna tell y'all, he don't eat a lot of meat at all. If he does eat meat, it is fish or deer meat. He don't eat beef. He'll eat chicken nuggets now, and he'll eat a chicken leg.
I know eat chicken.
Kenneth Greenhall said, "Do you like fire trucks?"
Yeah. I like trains too.
He likes trains pretty good. He likes trains, and he's big into dinosaurs. But he's got every dinosaur they ever made.
Well, I haven't got any.
Uncle Sasquatch said he heard tale of it. Yeah, old Leroy having him a tough. I won't tell it on here because it's a pretty good tale. Old Leroy having a tough deer season this year. And he'd been hunting hard this spot over in the woods, and there's a trail. He'd been hunting it. And he said, man, they wearing it out crossing the road, and he got off out there side the road, put him a lock-on stand up on the tree, and he'd been hunting, and he ain't seeing no deer on that trail. He couldn't figure out what was going on, so he seen my video about them Rio Link cameras and knew I'd been having pretty good luck, so he ordered him one. UPS man showed up with that thing the other day. And old Leroy got that camera, and he went in there and plugged that thing up right straight. I mean, got it fired up. Took off to the hunting club with it. Got up there, and he mounted it way up in a tree, climbed up in there where, the deer couldn't see that thing when they come in. He knew they'd be looking around. And he mounted up in the tree looking down. And About 2 or 3 days, he didn't get no notification. Said there wasn't no deer, but he was in the kitchen one day about dinner making him a souse meat sandwich, and that thing notification started going off. Ding, ding, ding. Boy, he run, grabbed his phone, went to looking at it, and there's a fellow with a pair of deer legs down there making tracks in the ditch. They was using it to keep him away from their hunting place where they was hunting all season. Old Leroy, he getting it rough, man. They done old Leroy dirty now. Jenny Bear said it's glitching bad. Probably because we inside tonight, I bet you. I wish I knew what to do about it. Probably because we all on the internet with 3 devices right here.
Good night, Willow.
Well, see you next time, Willow. Thank you for watching. B. Grimes said his is not glitching. That's probably y'all that snowed in's having problems. I bet it's ice. No, I bet it's the government doing it. We blame them for everything. Government's doing it. Glitching on the TV, but it's okay on the phone. I don't know. I would say I imagine the weather does play a factor in that. I don't know. Kim Baker, thank you for watching. Roanoke, Alabama. You won't hear no cut. There ain't nothing drives me madder than somebody cussing at me, and I ain't done nothing to them. I don't like to. You scroll through them reels on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, them shorts. Man, next thing you know, one of them will be done cussed you out. You ain't done nothing. You won't get that here. Appalachian Explorer said lost internet for the last hour. Yeah, Jeff Elon's the one doing it. John said it's the drones, yeah.
Good night, Jenny.
We'll blame something. Miss Jenny, thank you for watching. Good night, sweet dreams, sleep tight. Tommy said the electrons had done got cold. Suzanne offered, if there's strange lights in the sky, it's hard to see them through this roof because I ain't been out in the cold enough to be worried about it. Honest to God, I don't go outside and stare at the skies. And you know, there's been times that I would like to. When I was a kid, especially in August, we would go out and lay in the back of the truck or lay a blanket on the ground and watch, because sometime late in August they'd start talking about shooting stars, and we'd just lay out there and watch for shooting stars. And I haven't really done that in years. Now, I seen one here a couple of weeks ago. I was headed home from the deer camp, and I mean, there's one streaked all the way across the sky, but I think what a lot of that is that we see in big, long shooting stars is that debris re-entering old satellites and junk. I really don't think it's shooting stars. I think it's some of that garbage we got floating around up there. Nancy Pierce, good night.
Good night.
Boy.
See you next time.
Oh, he's got something else. Well, you're going to have to back up. There you go.
It's a pirate ship.
It's a what?
Pirate ship.
A pirate ship.
He's got his Legos.
Oh, Lord. Randall Ross, you ain't having good luck on your season either. You better put you one of them cameras up and make sure somebody ain't making footprints out there where you hunting. You might be hunting fake sign, reckon.
Tommy said Suzanne's down under at 95 degrees. They're burning up. She's in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
Australia.
I forgot about that. She is in Australia. And that is a big continent down there. Jeff said it's still snowing there. Butterfly Farms, thank you for watching. Good night. What?
I was telling her to get Butterfly Farms good night. B.
Grimes, thank you for watching. I will say this. Now, there's times I delete stuff and edit stuff, and usually it's like I'm not trying to hide anything when I edit stuff. I do it to try to cut out stuff that's not necessary to keep a video within 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes I wind up making something real short. It's 10, 15 minutes long. Most of them I'm shooting for 30 to 45 minutes. And, but as far as me trying to fake things or hide anything, it's like I told somebody the rifle snapping today, or in that video, you know, I could have edited all of that out and made like, oh, I just aimed up there and pow, and that's what most people would have done if they was editing the video. But this is real life, and I felt like, you know, I don't want to hide that because I ain't the only person that's happened to, and I don't want people to think that I think I'm better and smarter than everybody else. I make stupid mistakes just like everybody else. I mean, that was a prime example. That was just my stupidity on that, or, you know, ignorance or whatever. It was my fault anyway. So, you know, whatever you see here is real. I'm really doing whatever I film.
Jeff, no, my daddy, he's still up there. He left. He'll work up there for about 3 weeks before he comes home.
He came home for 2 weeks.
He come home for Christmas and then he went back.
Weeks.
He's in Indiana, but he sent me pictures today. They had snow again today, so he sent pictures of it again.
And my sister is in St. Louis, and they snowed in. They've been snowed in for a week there, ain't they?
Yeah, I hadn't talked to her to see what they got. But
I talked to Andrew. They're in Kentucky right now.
yeah, they're in Kentucky.
They had to go to Kentucky for some stuff, but they snowed in. Matthew Graves said, hello from Asheville. Michael English, I got 2 beaver traps out, but I ain't even looked at them. They're down there on my neighbor's property that brought me the deer. He's kind of babysitting them, and he caught an otter. I went down there and set them, and he checked them, and he caught an otter and a coon, and I don't think either one of them is reset. I need to go down there and reset them, but it's been cold, and he's been deer hunting. In fact, that's where he shot the 8-point down there, and I hadn't been wanting to go down there and stomp around some area, but I think at this point, me and him both are done deer hunting. And I may go down there because I would like to have a beaver before it gets warm weather because I'll eat them. If I catch one in the hot weather, I just about ain't going to eat it because you don't know how long it's been drowned in that water. And Tommy Litchfield, I agree with you. Chris Bassett said, no, that's Marlin's fault. They don't need safeties. You know, it's true, but... I knew it was there. I ain't had no problem with it out here shooting paper with it. But now when old deer walked out and I was trying to, hey, and I got my bullet back. Let me go get, I want to show y'all. Let me go get it.
I've still got to yawning, y'all.
By the time I fired the 3rd round on that thing, y'all, that deer had quartered more than it was. When I first shot, it was broadside. But it done kind of stepped towards me, I guess. And that bullet was buried up right in front of the back hind quarter. And there's my bullet I shot that deer with out of that 45-70. And that's what it done. That was a hollow point, one that we hand loaded. And you talking about tore up. So I didn't get all the stuff out of that deer that I normally would get. The background on the wall, no, that is not Michelle.
That's our daughter.
That is Alysria. Y'all don't see a lot of her, but that is a really good picture of her. I'll show you. I'm quite proud of it. I have a beautiful daughter. Who does she look like? Me or Michelle? She'll be proud of us for showing that. And I'm gonna fix me another cup of coffee since it's so cold in here.
I think I'm gonna wind up leaving it with Justin for a little bit.
Where you going?
Into my room,
And do what?
sit in my chair. Yeah, I got a big, well, it's really Justin's chair, but I claimed it. It's a big wing-back chair in there with an ottoman, and I got it sitting right in front of the TV. So while he's doing his thing, I'll go in there and sit in there in my chair.
It's another one of them chairs that the thrift store called and said, I think we got something you'd like. It's got them ball and claw feet. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the ball and claw feet. Brody, quit kicking the camera. Please. And it's a ball and it's got three like claws on the front of it. So I don't know why I like them. I've got text messages popping up from somebody. I'll check all that whenever I get off of him.
Thank y'all. I think she's beautiful. She's my girl, but she's getting about grown, so she don't stay home very much.
We don't see her no whole lot.
I mean, she stays here every night, but she's usually doing her own thing.
She gets off work and heads straight to her boyfriend's house and stays there to midnight and comes home. And that's a ritual, but she's 20 years old. Daddy's quit trying to tell her how to live her life. I did my job raising her, and I ain't had no trouble out of that girl, y'all. That girl has been an exceptional young'un. I ain't got no regrets with her except that I didn't spend more time with her as a child. I gotta read that Uncle Sasquatch. I seen Tommy said something about it, but Uncle Sasquatch, he used to work at a gun store now, for those of you that didn't know. He said, I made a woman mad at the store one time. She said she didn't like her Winchester 94 because it didn't have a safety on it. I told her, yeah, it does. It's on the end of your finger. She called the boss on me. I like that response, though, Uncle Sasquatch. So,
y'all, me and Lucky's gonna say good night. I'm gonna watch from my phone, but I'm going in my room. She lays like a baby.
well, if you're going in yonder, I'm fixing to.
She's just like having a baby doll.
Whoa, that thing there went to spinning all around. I was gonna let the legs out, cause I'm fixing to get in my recliner over here and show y'all how I spend most of my. Whoa, why is that thing flopping around? Yeah, they gonna all be seasick. This is what I want to do. I was tired of sitting all humped up over there. Now he's gonna come get in front of me. Show me a dinosaur. That's old Godzilla. He done took to watching Godzilla and King Kong on here. I come in here one night and there's monsters fighting on that TV. I just knew they was fixing to tear the TV off the wall.
Dad.
Yeah.
He has a boat in his
A boat in his mouth. Oh Lord.
He dumped other people out into a car. Well, this is a
Jeff, we'll see you. Well, my deal is when a gun has a hammer, I thought that was a safety. I thought, hammer's back, that means fire. Hammer's forward, it don't fire. I ain't never seen a revolver with a safety till Heritage Arms started putting one on theirs. I'd never seen Mr. Colt or Ruger put one on them. Now, they may be putting them now on some of them, I don't know, but I just thought a gun with a hammer having a safety was the silliest thing, but now I own a Marlin that's got it, and when I bought it, I was like, oh, that's fine, I'm okay with that. Well, after yesterday, I don't know that I'm okay with that anymore. Hunting for hookers, thank you. I'll have to check because if If we talked on my Instagram is crazy because, like I said, it divides everything. It goes into 4 different places, and sometimes I don't see it. I may have seen it. I don't know, but I'll get with you. We'll get it straightened out though. But yeah, get up with me. Chris said they make a delete kit for it. Randy Gibbons said the Henrys ain't got no safety on them. That might have been what I should have got. I just had in my heart I wanted one of these Marlins for whatever reason. I ain't saying one's better than the other one. But I tell you the truth about it, you know what I mean? When I tell you, hey, the dovetail's cut crooked in it and things like this, I mean, I ain't hiding that. A lot of people, don't mention that. You know, we want people to think it's perfect. I'm gonna, I'm gonna tell you the truth about whatever it is. They ain't paying me nothing. My only problem with Henry, I'll tell you what done me with Henry. And I don't say done me, but the reason I don't go to them first, I want a golden boy. I just had in my mind, man, I want a 44 golden boy. And they got one in at the pawn shop up there. And I went in and got that thing and I throwed it up to my shoulder. And I had to move my head all around to look down the barrel. And I said, you can put that back on the counter because my whole deal, if I'm going to buy a rifle, when I throw it to my shoulder, I got to be looking down that barrel. Now, that's if I'm shooting open sights, obviously. With a scoped rifle, that is not critical for me. But with open sights, the reason I want that is if something's moving, this will throw up my moment gun. That's what I use them for. Walk in the woods, riding in a canoe, whatever. And if it don't do that, that's kind of. But now, provided you don't get the golden boy or silver boy, I think they have that more accurate where you throw it up and you looking down the barrel. I just hadn't picked one up and tried to get one. I really wanted to look at the Rossies. I think a Rossi 44 would be good as well. I hadn't shot one. B Grimes, the weight on a knife. It was about 3 to 4 weeks. This past week I got down to, I was probably around 2 weeks, but then as Facebook started blowing up this past couple of weeks, we're pushing back to a 3-week now. But now what's the hold up right now has been deer season. Me going deer hunting in the afternoons, I'm losing a half a day every day deer because what I've been doing is when I got a knife ready to ship, I go to town, put it in the mail at the post office, and then I head to the deer camp. And it takes me 45 minutes like that to get there to an hour. If I leave here and go straight to the deer camp, you're looking at a 30-minute drive. And so I usually try to get to the deer camp about 3 o'clock. But now I'm pretty well at this point. I'm through with deer hunting. I've got more meat over there than I need. And I've accomplished what I set out to do. I ain't got to kill every buck on the place. Let there be some for next year. Let them other boys finish the season out. We may go back to the swamp and just ramble around, but probably I'm going to be squirrel hunting. I'm going to take my 22 and do some squirrel hunting. So, Randy Gibbon, if I was going to get one, I would want the case hardened octagon barrels myself. I think that would be the right move. Yeah, backwoods. I don't think the old ones. Uncle Sasquatch is a gun guru in the house. He worked at a gun shop for years. He can about tell you everything you need to know about one. Ohio Bigfoot researchers, welcome. Jimmy Sullivan, come on and we'll go do some squirrel hunting. I really need to put that boat in and ramble up and down that river again. And we can get out on the other side that ain't been stomped to death. Them woods has been worked over pretty good down there. But now there's a lot, the problem with that swamp is there's a lot of hardwood trees, but there ain't no acorns in them. So I seen a few squirrels yesterday, not very many. You're going to be hard pressed to come out with more than 4 squirrels, I figure. Yeah, Tommy Lynchfield, the last time Bigfoot researchers got in on the chat, I told Uncle Sasquatch he was here looking for him. That's what he was doing here.
What now? What'd you say?
There's a Bigfoot hunter on here. You like hunting Bigfoot, don't you? Brody likes to look for Bigfoot. Did you find Joe Bigfoot? The elf caught his Bigfoot. His elf showed up and caught Bigfoot. He got a toy Bigfoot, and Bigfoot tore out of the cage the next day and tied the elf up to the post, and we ain't seen Bigfoot since, have we?
I think he ran away. I've been trying to look for him. I think he ran away.
Yeah, his chair's got a squeak to it. Somebody got on Dennis Pritchard the other day in one of his videos. His shooting house chair squeaked every time he moved. I ain't got no oil in here to oil it, and I'd have to get out of the chair to do it, and that's the problem right there. I got to get out of the chair to oil it. I always hunt with a 22 when I am this late in the year. My first couple of squirrel hunts, I take a shotgun because I'm there for meat. I want to get enough to have a good fry. At this point in the year, I'm plinking and I like a 22. But now I'm going to tell y'all, I'm a fan of 22s anyway. Just general hunting, general target shooting, enjoyment. I like 22 rifles. I think a man, if law was out the window and I had to have one rifle and I could only have one gun, I think a 22 rifle, I could feed myself with it. A 12 gauge shotgun would be, or any other shotgun, would be another close option. And the reason I kind of lean towards 12 gauge, 20 gauge probably is good, 28 is a great gauge, but 12 is the most common to find ammo for, is one of the main reasons. And the next is you can get light loads, squirrel hunt, heavy loads, turkey hunt, you buckshot, deer hunt. There's a lot you could kill with it. So, but everybody's got their own opinion on that, and everybody's right, because I think you ought to hunt with what you like and the way you want to do it. Suzanne, I want to say that we're not going to let them take our guns away, but I'm afraid what's going to happen here is they going to regulate the ammo and the stuff so bad they don't care if you have a gun. You just ain't going to be able to afford to shoot it or be able to find ammo for it at some point if they ever push that. I don't know. No, they're never going to come around and just say, hey, we collecting all the guns. You're going to have to turn them in. That'd be a fool's errand here. Because there's way too many people here that are well armed for that to fly. And I think there's enough armed. Most people, I ain't gonna say most people, a lot of people is all mouth. They gonna sit around and talk about what they gonna do, and then when it comes down to it, they gonna be like, "Oh no, here," you know. Because a lot of people they used to getting on the internet and just shooting their mouth off, but they really ain't gonna do anything. But I do think that we have a huge group of people, and I mean a lot of people, that when it gets down to it, they're gonna be like, "No, I'd rather die than give it up," and I, I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of other places in the world is that I do think there is enough people here that are that mindset is like, no, I'd rather give my life than to be pushed around. So we'll see. I mean, I hope it never comes to that. I really don't. Tommy, I ain't never seen what you talking about. Winchester made the silliest mistake recently. They are trying to sell a 21 rimfire, 22 caliber brass loaded with a 21 caliber copper bullet. Had never heard had never heard of this. Philip said he was watching Michelle clean the kitchen, wondered, is that pine countertop and what color is it? So what that is actually I think it is birch. I think that is, and it may be pine in it, it may just be birch. But what it is a sheet of cabinet wood that we put on top of that island, and that is ebony stain on it. And it turned out really good. I had made a hardwood and glaze coated it, and that stuff never did harden. It's awfulest mess. Ohio, I agree with you. If they get my guns, I ain't gonna have no use for it no more after they get it. I can tell you that. The only concern is after I'm gone, what will they do to my family? You know what I mean? That's your big concern. As far as me, I'm on. I'd fight to the bitter end, but I don't know. It's easy to sit here and tell all that. You don't really know what you're gonna do till it's time to make that decision. So it's a copper bullet and it's for the lead-free states. Well, why don't they just make a copper 22 caliber bullet? Do you shoot it in a 22 caliber rifle? I don't know. I'm confused. Down to earth, we've got a huge generation that is too late for it. But I feel like, and I have heard that there is a generation coming in behind them that they have higher hopes for. They've shown signs of being a little more. But I'll tell you what we've got right now. We have a feministic spirit that has got a hold of people that has weakened the men. And that all the men are effeminate and they press and they proper and prim and they ain't worth. Mm-mm. Yeah, my blood starts boiling when I think about it. There ain't nothing galls me more than a sissified man pressing around, flopping his wrist and stressing his S's out real good. Raymond Rogers finally made it home. Where you been, Raymond? I'm sure you told me and I have forgot or missed it or something. I don't know. John said there's a spirit of Jezebel. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a spirit. People that get up and say, "Hey, I was born this way," and they got this. They wouldn't. I mean, they may have, but what happened is there's a spirit that got a hold to them, and that's why it's all of a sudden it's so. It almost looks contagious, like you didn't see this as widespread years ago. Some people would argue, "Oh, people just kept it hid." No, that ain't what it was. There's way more of it now than they was years ago. Now there's 10 times as many more people now than they was then. But it's a spirit that's got in the world and it's running rampant. And it is contagious through what we watch on TV. People see everybody else doing it and think that's the way they supposed, and they like it, and then it gets on them, and yeah. We've got a good many guys here that are not just like me, backwoods, but are manly, man. They work on vehicles, they like cars, trucks, whatever. And they out doing boy stuff. You don't have to hunt and do all of that, but you have to do outdoor type stuff, whether it's working on cars or whatever. Be a fix it. If something's broke, I'm gonna try to fix it. I'm gonna. The biggest thing to be a man is like girls. That's the big thing. You can't have them all, but you at least need to like them. These boys today, and they don't like girls. I know right then there's something wrong with them. That's right, get our hands dirty. Tote a pocket knife, even if you ain't got a use for it. Tote a pocket knife. You need if you got a pocket, it needs a pocket knife in it, even if it's a little one. Clean your fingernails out with it, something. And I realize some folks is on the airplane an awful lot, and yeah, I get it. You can't have one on there. I totally understand that. So it's not practical to be toting one if you got to throw it in the trash can. But I'm gonna tell you, I've planned my life to where I don't have to get on no airplane because I like my pocket knife. If I got to give up my pocket knife to go there, I really ain't got no business there to begin with, if you want to know my honest opinion. Squatted truck. Randy Allen, don't get me started on them squatted trucks. They ain't nothing more ignorant than a squatted truck now. And I guarantee you, there's a bunch of guys watching this right now that's got one. The thing that scares me the most ain't that it just looks stupid. Is, we used to, as boys, we wanted to drive 100, 120 down the, see how fast it go. Well, that thing is sitting like this, and it's catching air. It's going to get lift at some point. You're going to start around a curve, and that thing's going to be off in a ditch over there somewhere. It's not practical. It ain't safe. Because I know boys, you're going to put your foot in it at some point. It ain't going to handle, and I know there's going to be one out there going, "Oh, yeah, they drive this." No, they don't. Ain't no possible way. But anyway, you do what you want to your truck. I don't care. I ain't got to like it. Don't do it to mine, no. Greg, that's the truth. You born. Larry said they put lights under the truck instead of on top. Y'all remember back in the days when everybody had a chrome roll bar in the back of the truck? Whatever happened to a roll bar? Why do you never see a truck with a roll bar anymore? You know, they used to have a roll bar with them KC lights all the way across the top, man. They was ready to go. Now you don't never see a truck with a roll bar. And don't say, well, it's because I need to haul my four-wheeler. We all pulling trailers with them side-by-sides now. Very few people is putting a four-wheeler in the back of a truck. What happened to the roll bars? When is the chrome roll bars coming back? I figure when they come back now, they'll be powder coated. But what about the roll bars? I bet you can't even buy one. My sister had a beautiful old white GMC, and I think she had a roll bar in the back of it, if I remember correctly. Marty, I hadn't seen that. Oh, Raymond's been car shopping with his daughter. Oh, that gets expensive. Oh. John said elbow pads and helmets to ride a bicycle happen. Yeah, that and seat belts and orange vest. Gotta have insurance. We got a lot of silly laws. I mean, I am not arguing the fact that all of this ain't good stuff. If you worried about getting shot, you need to wear an orange vest in the woods. If you worried about getting thrown out of a vehicle, you need to wear a seatbelt. They'll save your life. Orange vest will save your life in the woods. And I'll say this about an orange vest. I do think dog hunting, where you lined up, deer's running, a lot of excitement, I think they're necessary for that type of hunting, because you're not really trying to hide from the deer in that scenario. And you are lined up inside of each other trying to cut a road off, so when the deer comes out of the woods, you know, I mean, those of you that hunt like that, I get the orange is more necessary for this type of hunting. Where I have a problem with orange is when the government tells me I've got to do something for my safety and they can fine me if they don't. Tell me it's a good idea, tell me I ought to, but how you gonna fine me for not doing it when it ain't endangering nobody but me? I should get to make this choice. Same way with a seatbelt, motorcycle helmet, all this stuff. If it's not endangering anybody else, once you become a voting age adult, you should be able to make these own decisions yourself. Just my thought. And we're talking about strictly stuff that does not endanger someone else. We talking about this is just me and my person. Orange vest, I don't like it. And my reason is I promise you, I'm telling you, deer can see it. I was sitting there with that orange vest on and that deer looking at me doing like this. I ain't moved a muscle. Too many times I have been in the woods squirrel hunting, and I've had deer come right up beside me and never see me. I can get close to them. And I was wondering, well, why in deer season can't I get that close to them? And it's because I had an orange vest on. I mean, you're going to have a hard time convincing me it ain't the truth. Philip Greer, I agree. If you're worried about getting shot in the woods, stay out of the woods. And here's the next thing. Most of us are hunting in clubs, hunting in things to where we're walking to a shooting stand, shooting house, box, ladder stand, lock on. Most everybody in the club knows where your stand is. Or I'm on private property, ain't nobody else supposed to be here. I mean, you know what I mean? The next thing is, and I realize this is a problem. I realize there's people that don't do this. But when I put my crosshairs on something, not only do I know it's a deer, I know if it's a buck or a doe. how many points it's got, just about how big it is. If it's a shooter buck, like if I'm buck hunting, his horns have to come out to the tips of his ears for me to shoot him. This is because I have shot some bucks in the past. If I was a teenager, I had never really killed a decent buck, I'd have shoot an 8-point like that. You know. But once you have killed some deer in your life, if I'm going to shoot him, I want him to be decent. You know what I mean? So, why are people shooting somebody in the wood? How do you not know this is a person? Now, I do get the fact I shot at a deer and they happen to be somebody on out yonder with a high-powered rifle. I get that. But those chances are very, very, very slim, considering all the woods out there, and you happen to be the one, you know, I mean, there has to be a lot of freak. I think some of these hunting accidents ain't really accidents that has happened. I know some of them are, because some folks have shot family members and this, that, and the other, that we know good and well they didn't do it on purpose. And I know some of you can probably tell me some horror stories. I'd rather not hear them. But I'm just saying those instances are very rare, considering the number of people in the woods that are toting a gun every day. So, you know, I get the, hey, we running dogs, and I shot, you know, deer come out, and there's 10 of us lined up down the road, and he crossed the road, boom, boom, boom. These people shot vehicles and all, you know. I understand that. But anyway, we'll get off of that rant. I get fired up thinking about some of that kind of stuff. It irks me. But now, I will say, and B. Grimes, that's what I'm saying. Who shoots something they don't know what it is? My daddy taught me to make sure I knew what I was shooting, make sure I was making a good shot on what I was shooting. I don't just see hair and go to throwing lead at it. When I shoot a deer, I'm trying to make sure I'm not destroying meat. Now, that deer, time I shot it, I'd done shot 3 times. I was focused on trying to get my gun to fire. That deer had quartered, and I didn't destroy no meat, but I tore the guts up in it. 45-70 went in front of the front shoulder, or really went right in the front shoulder, and hit, bared up in the back hind quarter back there, right in front of it. So it made a mess out the insides. But at that point, I was open sights. I'm trying to get dead center of the deer, you know, because I ain't sure. It ain't like a scope where I can put it on the neck. I usually choose a neck shot, but, you know, I get it. But most of the time, not only do I know what I'm shooting, I know right where I'm putting that bullet. I know which way it's facing. I know, you know. So anyway, and we ain't going to talk about, you know, squirrel hunting or turkey hunting and all that, because you don't have to wear orange deer and all that kind of stuff. We're just talking about deer hunting. Feral cat hunting. Suzanne, do they allow any kind of trapping, primitive trapping, like, you know, or is that highly regulated too? What? I don't know anything about the laws down there. Richard T., good night. Rural Prepper, I'd have come unhinged on him. Rural Prepper said, I got chewed out one time by a hunter. He said, I almost shot you. I thought you were a deer. You should wear more orange, he said. I'd have told him he need to go have his eyes checked, because I ain't look nothing like no deer. I'll tell you, David Rushing, I'll tell you a lot of what it is now, and I'm going to be straight up with you. Right now, you've got a lot of young guys that's coming into the hunting world that's seen shows like mine, other people's YouTube channels, other people that's like, they like Michael Waddell, they like all these big channels that's doing a lot of hunting, and that's good. I ain't knocking that. That is a good thing. But they're young guys that's coming in that hadn't had daddies in their life. They've been raised by mamas. They've been raised by grandparents or something. They hadn't been raised by somebody that has taught them the ins and outs of guns. Been raised around this. Like I was fortunate to be raised around guns. I was shooting guns from the time I was Brody's age. It was just a natural thing to us. It was a tool. It was not really considered a weapon. It's what we hunted with. I never, shooting somebody with it never even crossed my mind. I mean, we watched cowboy stuff and still didn't seriously think about somebody shooting somebody. So it wasn't like, we was being raised watching cowboy movies. We wanted to go literally start shooting people. I don't know what happened, where that come about, people going to school and shooting schools and stuff up. We were raised around guns, and we was taught to respect them. We were taught how to hunt. We were taught not to kill more than you're gonna eat. And I know some families that they hunt. It's all about bragging rights. We need to so we can go tell everybody how many we killed or how big it was. But I don't know. A lot of it, I think, is young kids now in the woods that hadn't been taught a lot. They just watch shows, and they got old enough to buy a license, and they having to learn it on their own, because I see a lot of them that really don't know anything about hunting. They've watched some shows, they know the general idea, but as far as how to be successful, I went up there and shot deer this year out of shooting houses, out of blinds, at corn feeders. That ain't my favorite way of hunting. When you're on a club and everybody else is feeding corn, you kind of got to do that. But if you're going to shoot a sad daddy, it's a rare chance that you're going to shoot him out of a shooting stand. Right now, you can kind of do that if he gets something else on his mind and he kind of forgets his wits and he gets careless. But generally, you got to get out in the woods and set up on trails and crossings and get in his element to kill him. So, these young guys I notice that a lot of them don't know all of that. And so when they don't know all of that, they also hadn't been taught how to really identify and handle and so they out there with wanting to shoot stuff and they ain't had a lot of experience. So it is good that I think we're having these conversations, whether they agree with it or not. They can step back and say, the right thing to do is when I see I need to control my emotions. I need to not get overly excited. And I know we all see a big buck, we get bad excited. It's time to, at my age, I have learned to control my excitement. Now, you watch the video, there's a doe out there I want to shoot, and I'm breathing heavy. But I hadn't completely lost my wits. I forgot I got a safety. The excitement's there, it happens. But I know people that start shooting and man, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. They empty their guns out on deer and they ain't killed them. Caution to the wind. So learning to control your emotions is a huge part of your success, because you need to be able to make one shot count. You need, whether it's with a bow, whether it's with a rifle, whatever you're hunting with, you need to be able to make that first shot count. That taking a clip full of ammo to the woods with you because I might need to shoot 5 or 6 times. It's very rare that I have shot at the same animal twice. It has happened, but not often. Usually it's a one shot, either I got him or he's gone. That's just how that works. Larry, we'll see you. We finna shut this all down here shortly anyway. I'm trying to catch up on these comments. Suzanne said they lost their guns in the 90s when a guy went crazy and shot up a lot of people in Tasmania. That's down in Australia, y'all. Yeah, Randall, I have been in that situation. I have had to let stuff go because I knew. In fact, me and Casey was filming a hunting show down there one day a couple of years ago, and he had shot at a deer, and we walked in there looking for it. And when the deer come out and started running between us, and I did not shoot because I couldn't remember right where he was at, and I couldn't see him. He happened to be on the other side of a tree, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't find him, so I didn't go to shooting. You know what I mean? So. Well. Yeah, I think most of our deer hunting now is all about bragging rights instead of what, like me, I've got all the meat I need. I mean, I could kill another deer probably legally. I've got more deer meat than I need. I'm fixing to shut my deer season down myself. We still got to the end of January to deer hunt if I choose. I think we go gun season to the 22nd, then muzzleloader season or primitive weapon to the 31st. I'm done right now. What's today? The 10th? I quit 11 days early, 12 days early. Simply because I don't need to shoot another deer. I've got deer over there I've got to go tomorrow, process, put in coolers, and get something done with it. So I want to squirrel hunt. Me and Roscoe's missed out on a lot of squirrel hunting this year. I want to do some squirrel hunting. I want to do some winter crappie fishing. I haven't done any of that. I got just several other things I want to do other than focus on deer hunting. I've had enough. I've had a good season. So I'm fixing to call it quits on the deer hunting. Let them other guys hunt and have a chance at some good bucks. And Uncle Sasquatch said for all of you, before we close this out, don't eat the yellow snow. If you don't understand that, just remember, if you see yellow snow, don't eat it. Ain't good for you. Salty tasting. So anyway, anybody got anything else they need to add before we close all this down? It is after 10 o'clock. We need to shut the world down. Should have shut it down at 9. We just kept on going tonight. Went a little while. It is well past our bedtimes. Thank y'all for joining in tonight. Tommy said, did you write your name in yours? Y'all go write your name in the snow. Thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors tonight. Enjoy us cooking and having a good time. We fixing to get this handle pulled on this chair over here. Remember, the best way to do things
is the way you like to do it.
And we'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one. I love you, little buddy.
I love you.
He's my favorite person in the whole world. Oh, all right. See y'all.